exchange, fair exchange, fair exchange with you. It's a fair exchange, fair exchange, fair exchange with you. Yo, know me as the guy with the game plan, suit with the tie and the Ray-Bans, moon in the sky with the main man. Yep, yep, yep. Know you as the girl with the own goals, smile on the side in the photos, something in my mind I could hope for. Yeah, it's just a fair exchange, sharing things, carrying our love to the moon. Trade each and every day in this fair exchange, sharing everything that we do. And what do I do? Exchanging all with you. Won't say it all, just do. I'll trade the cost to prove it's for you. It's for you. Now we in a life we can brag on. Fast on ain't trace cause the tag's off, like the coins used in the transaction. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you on the roll with the big boys. Other boys coin bits, they on Bitcoin. Got your friends getting jealous on this boy. Nah, nah, nah. Exchanging all with you. Won't say it all, just do. I'll trade the cost to prove it's for you. It's just a fair exchange, sharing things, carrying our love to the moon. Trade each and every day in this fair exchange, sharing everything that we do. What do I do? What do I do in this fair exchange? What do I do? What do I do in this fair exchange with you? Won't say it all, just do. I'll trade the cost to prove it's all for you, all for you, all for you.
Since the creation of the internet, every industry has been turned upside down. Amazon changed retail. Uber changed transportation. YouTube changed video forever. With the invention of crypto, money is next. At the speed technology is growing, the future of money and securities are digital. 9 out of 10 millennials do not trust banks. The value of money relies on trust. Government debt is higher than it's ever been before. Central banks continue to print money. Fortunately, the world has a new solution. Experts predict in 7 years, 10% of the world's economy will be in crypto-based assets. Today, 1 billion people have access to the financial industry. Crypto is about empowering the other 6 billion people by banking the unbanked. Do not underestimate this. Do you wish you invested in Google, Amazon, or Netflix before anyone ever knew about them? $1,000 invested in Netflix turned to over $500,000. At Token Metrics, we help you find the next Netflix. Token Metrics users think differently about investing. They are early adopters looking for financial freedom. They are people who see a better world. A world without international borders. We believe in a world where everyone has access to the next financial revolution. At Token Metrics, we are creating a bridge that gets you to that revolution. We will help you make sound investments in this new world. The world's best investors do not rely on their intuition. They embrace technology and AI to invest. Token Metrics uses AI to find invisible patterns in data to help you invest and trade in crypto. In the past, we have used our data-driven system to achieve financial freedom. Now, we are giving you the keys. We created Token Metrics to be the only platform you'll ever need to make money in crypto. We give you AI and access to crypto experts at the best price. The moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond.
Disclaimer. Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Ian DeMelina, being joined by Bill. Bill, how are you?
Ian, I'm good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome. Hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. We're still here with the whole crypto community because crypto does not sleep. It's 24/7, 7 days a week. Here we are. All right, so we definitely have a very interesting week. Bitcoin has been going sideways, so the show for this week, when Bitcoin move, because that's really what people care about here in crypto. When is Bitcoin going to the moon and beyond? And right now, Bitcoin is going sideways. Bill is here to tell us why that's a good thing. All right, so Bill, how's the market? How's life?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm still healthy and still with us, so that's a big
good.
bonus. Always good.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of this market, there are good consolidations, like something's getting ready to crack, and then other consolidations where, it's sort of like all falls quiet, right? So I'm in the all falls quiet, getting ready to go up mode. Because, if you look at social media, everyone's like, oh, we really didn't need the lockdown. Okay. So why are we printing 4 trillion then? You know what I'm saying? It's like everyone's talking about the lockdown. No one's talking about the 4 trillion that they want to print. I can't wait to get the MMT book that's coming out in June that we talked about. Mm-hmm. So I think a question of time before institutions and retail start pouring in. And I think retail is starting to get more and more interested.
Right. I mean, things are getting more and more optimistic and bullish. I mean, obviously, we're kind of speaking to the choir, but even for people who weren't really bullish on crypto, they're now becoming bullish on crypto because it's only so long that they can view all these central banks just print money. I mean, so that's why people like Paul Tudor Jones are now in crypto. People like Raoul Pal and others from Real Vision are now bullish on crypto. So this really just shows that this is coming, right? So it's not really a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we're still here. We've not left. We've been here in the bear market through thick and thin, through the trials and tribulations. And we stand here still today because we're all bullish on crypto. So we already have a great live stream. Let me just do some quick shout outs. Shout out to James. James, what's up? Eric, Kenneth, Mark, Jonathan, Hubi Global on Twitter is watching us. Awesome. Hey, Hubi. How are you? BTC Motivation. Let's get it. Absolutely. Bitcoin Storefront. You are my mentor for the last 3 years. I've been following you since I started to believe in your concept. Thank you. We definitely appreciate those kind words. Mind Blocker, welcome. Kevin. What's up, Kevin? Kevin says, miss those days, 10x, 20x, 30x, 50x. Hey, I mean, those days aren't over. They're just harder to come by. So that's why we built Token Metrics. If you haven't yet already, be sure to join tokenmetrics.com. We can now officially say this has been the best month for Token Metrics since we launched back in end of November. So people have been seeing the potential. I think really, yes, the Bitcoin halving did play a part in it, but I think also the fact that it called the dip when Bitcoin went below 3,000, below 4,000, and then bounced back and went all the way till 10,000. And then as soon as we approached the halving, our models basically said, take profit. So I think that's really having a textbook win has really brought in lots of people who now believe in the platform we're building. And we have lots of exciting things we plan to launch next month, including cryptocurrency ratings and cryptocurrency indices. So we have lots of people who've given us feedback telling us, hey, we mainly use the price predictions. We'd like to go through and have a faster way of knowing what to trade based on the price predictions. So we are listening to your feedback. We're creating an index just on the price predictions, meaning that we'll go through and show you the cryptocurrencies that have the highest predicted gains in the next week or the next 30 days based on our models. And we'll make that easier for people to access. So if you haven't yet already, be sure to join your free trial at tokenmetrics.com. And also feel free to put in the coupon code CryptoFamily, all caps, one word, CryptoFamily, to get 10% off. All right. So Menti code, for those who want to ask questions for the AMA, go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com. The code is 794472. That's 794472, and that's not the coupon code. Coupon code is for Token Metrics. All right. So as we mentioned, today's show is when Bitcoin moon, why sideways action is good. So with that being said, let me hand it off to Bill. Bill, so when's Bitcoin going to moon, and why is sideways action good for us?
Okay, so I think, in looking at, everything from the futures contract to like XBT, the sideways action, it's good because it's happening on top of, points that are now acting as support that used to be resistance, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this line right here where XBT is sitting on. And one of the things you'll notice is that, at that line a while back in February, right before all this started, that's where Bitcoin got rejected from. That's where the big avalanche started. So we're at this huge, what I would call diagonal inflection point, or it's kind of hidden. Like not everyone knows it's there, except I think the smart money knows it's there. So I can see people quietly buying the dip, right? And I believe it's the same for futures. Let me get there. Okay. Same thing for futures, right? In other words, you've got this point that up here, it was a disaster. And down here, we're finding buyers, even though it's really quiet. All right. And then of course, there's my favorite Moonboy chart of Ethereum, where I just simply note that Ethereum is quietly going sideways inside this upward sloping channel. And it's just kind of simple, right? If Ethereum was at 363 in June of last year, I mean, what was going on in June of last year? I can't even remember, right? But it wasn't printing $3 trillion, that's for sure.
Right.
Right. So, in some ways, I think this is obvious. So, other things that are happening, in other words, when Bitcoin goes sideways, it allows other coins to start moving, right? So I drew this colorful structure in Cosmos. These are Gann lines. I noticed Cosmos found support, just so happened to find support here, okay? And without going into, giving you a headache, because it's supposed to be cryptotherapy, it looks like, Cosmos has kind of completed its down move, right? And then the other one I'm looking at that I think is really interesting is I actually looked at Dash versus Bitcoin, right? And this speaks to this whole idea of, okay, are we winding it up? So Dash is right there, right underneath the resistance point. And I think if Dash breaks out versus Bitcoin, that it can go to like, this is now Dash, actually cash versus the dollar. I think it can go to 90 or 100.
All right. So that sounds good.
So I think when it comes to crypto, I think the institutions, once they come back from the holiday, you know, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do for the rest of the year. This is assuming they are coming back.
Meaning what?
Meaning they're going to come back from the holiday. They're going to, okay, so they went through this huge shock.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go on vacation and they have to like think about what's next. Like, what are we going to do now? You know, are we going to buy stocks? Stocks are right back where they were when this whole thing started. So
Right.
what if something bad happens? Right. You know, and if we buy it now and everything goes back to being copacetic, well, that's fine. Is it going to go up 20%? I don't know. But how high can crypto go up if they keep printing?
A lot.
So I think these discussions are going to be had at the big player level.
All right. And there we have it. I mean, pretty much, I think, on point. So right now, things are basically going sideways. And it's really just timing, right? We can't really force the timing, but we're all optimistic on crypto and Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been pretty steady and holding, and we just got to wait. All right. So let's check in here with the audience and see how we're doing with the questions. Just give me 1 second. Oh, wow. Lots of people watching this from Facebook. What's up, Facebook family? Great to have you here. All right. So El Diablo on Twitter is saying, when alt season?
Okay. Well, when alt season would probably be if Bitcoin continues to go sideways, right? Like, I think they're going to ramp it in like the next 5 to 10 days. But you know what? If they don't, that's going to give all these altcoins a chance to move up. It's another reason why Bitcoin going sideways, shame on me for forgetting this. It's another reason why Bitcoin sideways is not the worst thing in the world, because it allows speculative money to flow into alts.
That's always a good thing. I mean, because alt season is really our Christmas. I mean, so
Right.
So when alt season finally comes around, because we've been waiting a long time. We've been waiting almost 2 years. Sorry, more than 2 years. I would say 3 years, because the real alt season was fall of 2017. And that was the real alt season. I mean, yes, we've had as many alt runs, but there hasn't really been like a real true alt season where, I mean, people are making life-changing money. So whenever that comes, just know that we'll all be ready. You'll have us here with us. We'll be here with you every weekend, every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll also have Token Metrics and the platform, so that whatever altcoins have potential, we'll help you find them very, very quickly. All right. Going on to a few other comments from the audience here. Please review Acoin. We've not done that yet. I'm not sure. I don't think they've launched yet. I know Acoin was speaking at some conferences, but yeah. So it looks like we have a huge group on Facebook. I see Matt. What's up, Matt? Tutu. He's tagging all his friends. Thank you. We appreciate that. Then Pink Line says Lambo time. Then Pink Line from San Francisco. Will BTC hit 6K again? We're not sure. I mean, but I would say right now we're pretty optimistic, right? Right now it's just going sideways. What's the bear case for Bitcoin, Bill?
Well, I think the bears are going to have to rely on stocks falling apart, right? In other words, it's this argument that the stock market is smoking something funny, thinking that everything is going to be okay right away, and that would drag crypto down with it. So I mean that's what they would say about 6K. I just think the Fed is so determined to keep stocks up that, I mean, unless this is like a real zombie movie and it goes airborne and we all have to be wearing astronaut suits to go outside, stocks are going to try to stay up, which is going to give crypto the opportunity to move.
All right. Well said. Well said. Okay, so let's hop straight into the AMA. This is probably the fastest ever we've hopped into the AMA. But I mean, Bitcoin is going sideways, so it does make sense. All right, so this is really a comment. Love the show, Ian. I got into Howard Marks and Benjamin Graham because of you. Must read for investors. Thanks. Thank you. I mean, those two are great books. I definitely prefer the books by Howard Marks, I would say. So for those who don't know, Howard Marks is a value investor. So he's basically in the same camp as Warren Buffett. You basically have the traders and the value investors, people that invest with a long-term, with a long time horizon. So people investing typically for the next 3 years to 10 years, but at minimum over 1 year. So meaning that at least here in America, they want to get long-term capital gains, right? So they aren't looking to do day trade or swing trading. And his book, The Most Important Thing, is probably the best investment book I've read. And that's not hyperbole. I mean, I read a lot. I'm going through probably 2 to 4 books a month, mainly audiobooks. And so far, I would say The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks is the best and the most complete investing book I've read. I've also read The Intelligent Investor. I've read The Intelligent Asset Allocator and a bunch of other books. But in terms of bringing together all the principles of investing, that's probably the book I highly recommend. I mean, to a point, I actually gave that book to my brother who just finished his freshman year in college, and because he wants to learn investing. So I bought him that book. Highly recommend that book. I know Bill, on the other hand, also recommends, what's that book? The Stock Operator?
Right. Well, there's Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, and then there's William Gann's Truth, the Stock Tape.
All right. So speaking of Gantt, what's behind you there, Bill?
Right. So we've got a new backdrop. So I keep charts of crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum by hand on graph paper. So, some people paint, some people meditate. I actually plot bar charts of what's going on in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I decided to tack up. The Ethereum chart is actually so big. That's actually that version behind me is folded in half. So wow. I folded it in half and then threw some crypto art. One of them was joined by a friend. One of them I bought at a conference. So for me, I know that Token Metrics, this makes me a dinosaur kind of in the Token Metrics universe, but sometimes plotting it by hand is the best way to get a grip on what's going on, right? When you draw it, you see it, you feel it. So that's what's in the back.
So speaking of that, I've just pulled up here your Twitter post about 4 hours ago, where you posted your hand-drawn charts. So they're called Gann charts, correct?
Right. Yes. William Gann was the analyst who plotted these charts and came up with the strategy based on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible. So if you aren't following Bill already, please do go to @crypto_noble to watch more of his hand-drawn charts. I mean, it's definitely unique, and he's doing this in crypto. So nobody is doing this in crypto that I know of. All right. I mean, and this is getting some attention, and I think some posts of yours have gone viral. Right. So it's pretty cool.
It's I'm not like some big influencer or anything, but what's starting to happen is it's like, every time I do a post, I'm picking up like 50 new people. Right. I know that's not earth shattering for social media, but for me it is. So.
But no, I mean, compound interest, right? Compound growth.
Yeah. No, it could blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bitcoin tech's at 13K. I think it might blow up.
Yeah. They'll be like, this guy was doing hand-drawn drawings of Bitcoin going to the moon and beyond.
Right. So you're right. Nobody's doing it on Twitter. People are like mesmerized by, that's why it's like, you see, I'm like subconsciously pushing it when I'm always got the pencil going on the show. So
now could you kind of maybe explain to people like kind of more detail in terms of how you actually draw the lines by hand? Because it may seem like rocket science to some people.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've seen a regular bar chart on say TradingView, right? Mm-hmm. So when I draw, I'll just take the high and that's a tick. And then I draw the line and then I make a tick for the low. So it's different than what you see on candlesticks or, a regular bar chart, right? I just draw the high and the low. And then what I do is, I draw angles because it's actually on graph paper. So, Gann, instead of like making trend lines by connecting 2 points, he drew angles coming off certain critical points, right? Now, the subjective part is picking the critical points, but frequently when you have angles and they intersect, and I have other indicators about timing that, I mean, Gann drew these things for like whole universes of stocks. You know, the guy just worked endlessly. But he made $50 million trading during the Depression.
Wow.
That's not somebody one day will do the math on what 50 million in 1929 was worth. He made so much money that he just hung out and wrote books.
Yeah, he was like, I'm done drawing.
right. I'm done drawing. Yeah. And you know, some of his mathematics, like Gann was also data science before data science. I've got another tool that I won't even show you, but he got some of the mathematics from tables of numbers found on Egyptian pyramid and Hindu temple walls.
That's crazy.
Pretty spooky, right? So yes, the Gann universe is really interesting. I know that there's a ton of people in crypto using Gann. I just happen to go on Twitter and take a picture and post it. The rest is, you're right, and post.
Well, I mean, that's why here at Token Metrics, we try to bring you the best, right? The best across the world, whether it's machine learning or hand-drawn drawings in TA.
Right. Nobody, not even anybody investment banks has got AI and a guy with a pencil. No one's got that. Nobody.
All right. With that being said, let's go back to the AMA. Okay. All right. So thank you for those comments, whoever posted that. Going on to the next one here. Will mid caps or small caps run first on the next alt run? Okay. Here, how about you, Bill? What's your take on this? So basically, he's saying, well, mid caps or small caps. So I think let's say small caps are cryptocurrencies with a market cap with a market rank larger than 100, and let's call mid caps maybe from top 20 to top 100 market cap, something like that. Or
yeah, I think that's the group. That's the group. I think that's the group, right? It's going to be like coins that have themes that people can get their head around quickly. Like, you know, Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash are fast, right? Monero, Zcash, Dash, privacy. So the coins that have a story that people can relate to easily will move first. Then in the alt space, it'll be the coins that benefit from all those other coins going up. Cross-chain communication, DeFi, you know, DeFi, I think, will be the first small sector to go.
I agree. I mean, DeFi has so much potential. We've seen DeFi grow to over $1 billion in terms of assets under management or assets locked up on DeFi before it kind of came back down to earth during Black Thursday due to the pandemic. But I definitely believe DeFi is going to blow up. And if DeFi, the way DeFi goes is the way Ethereum goes. And for those who know, we're very bullish on Ethereum. So that means as a result, we're very bullish on DeFi. Now, we still have some concerns in terms of compliance and regulation and KYC and AML. But long-term speaking, very, very bullish on DeFi and very, very bullish on Ethereum. Now, my perspective in terms of what do I think could go first? Honestly, I think in terms of individual cryptocurrencies, I think the small cap, because they have a lower cap and they're more volatile, they can also be pumped and dumped even more, obviously. So I think that definitely will cause individual coins to go up faster. But I think as a group, the mid caps will, as a group, rise up at a more consistent level because there are less shitcoins, basically, and that's kind of my take. But let us know what you think. Do you have different takes, different opinions? Feel free to just post in the comments down below. All right, so let me just check in here with the audience real quick. King Nick in the house, what's up? Good to have you here. Wariba on Twitter, what's up? Analyst Shark, Unibright. So our team is currently reviewing that project. We do plan to have it on Token Metrics, I would say by next month. So definitely come back or just check the site and probably a few weeks by next month. Then we have a super chat or tip from Games 103. Thank you. We appreciate it. He's saying, take a look at Populous, Zilliqa, and Dragon Chain. So how about we start with Dragon Chain? Could you pull that up, Bill? And we check out the TA and Dragon Chain if that's available. I believe it's DRGN is their symbol, and it should be trading on Bittrex. Now, I do recall Dragon Chain has been pumping recently. I think they had some big news, but basically that was a product I did invest in myself in their ICO back in 2017, and they've been pretty much dormant. So it's kind of like the Phoenix Rising. Not quite sure whether it's just a pump or whether it's something substantial, but we'll take a look with the TA.
Okay, I'm pulling it up here.
All right. So for those who don't know Dragon Chain, they're basically an enterprise blockchain that was birthed out of Disney's incubator. Now, however, it is not really tied to Disney. Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm noticing on Dragon Chain is it looks like the initial pump happened and then it's coming back and finding buyers at this support zone. Remember when we were looking at Bitcoin, we were trying to figure out whether or not the dip buyers were winning or not. And, I do think it's possible that, Dragon Chain might slip and retest this point here. And that's possible, right? I mean, it is an altcoin,
right?
But I think the dip buyers are going to win here, right? It's just a question of whether the dip is here or here. I'd almost bet here.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Right. In other words, one of the things that's, if we're talking about these type of coins, every move up or down has kind of a pain point, right? In other words, I know for crypto, when it goes up, we all go, wow, that's great. We're happy. But if an institution wants to get involved in crypto and Bitcoin goes up 5%, but these alts and these mid-sized coins and small coins go up 300%, the institution missed out. So that's why I think you may be seeing dip buyers and things like Dragon Chain.
All right. So you heard it there first. So would you say you're basically you're bullish?
Yes, I think you're buying. You're buying the dips. I mean, I didn't look at the other two coins, but when I just eyeball it, that you can see people buying dips, and you buy dips until you're proven wrong.
All right. So let me pull up Dragon Chain here on tokenmetrics.com. All right. So we have the price predictions. For some reason, we don't have past price predictions, but looking at this from today, it's basically saying Dragon Chain will be going sideways. So actually, I would say it's basically in agreement with Bill. It's basically saying dip buyers will come in to hold support. Very interesting. Very interesting. So basically, this has the price around 9 cents, 9.4 cents, 9.5 cents. And it has the price going as low as 9 cents, but not really going anything lower than that. So for anybody out there who's trading Dragon Chain, definitely could be some useful insight. Now, in terms of long term as a project, we're personally not bullish on Dragon Chain, and also our ratings on Token Metrics aren't really that bullish on Dragon Chain long term. However, we haven't finished scoring the project yet. So for customers who have access, stay tuned. Looks like we may have to go back and finish the review on that. All right. So unfortunately, just due to time, we can only do one of the requests games, but thank you so much for that super chat. Okay. All right. So going on to the next question for the AMA. So if you have a question you would like to ask, go to menti.com. That's menti.com. Use the code 794472. That's 794472. All right, so next question. ETH BTC chart looks ready to start a new cycle. Okay, I think we already answered this question about alt season. So this is a question we already answered. Let's skip that. All right. Let me go on to the next question. All right, so this one is interesting. Arthur Hayes put out a nice write-up a few days ago. I'd like yours and Bill's thoughts on the average time frame for Bitcoin to become orthodox. Okay, I'm not sure I quite understand what you mean. I haven't had a chance to see any of the write-ups from Arthur Hayes, but let me see if I can pull that up here. Just give me 1 second. I mean, because orthodox meaning that it's kind of like a religion, or do you mean? Okay, let me just pull up here. Sorry, have you heard about this, Bill? Arthur Hayes?
I have not.
Yeah, anybody in the comments who could give us more info on this? That would be helpful. I mean, because I know Arthur Hayes was in the news for the BitMEX lawsuit or class action lawsuit he was fighting, but haven't really seen anything else about that. Okay, but maybe we can just reframe the question. So how about this? So I think he's basically saying, when can we expect Bitcoin to get wider adoption? So the average time frame for Bitcoin to, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really know what he's talking about there. We are live. So whoever asked that, could you maybe post in the comments with more information in terms of what the question was referring to? So let's kind of skip that for now. Okay, so somebody's saying Unibread has done a 54x since October. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, because I did see they did enter the top 100 in market cap. Okay, all right. So going on to the next question on the AMA. Here, let me just skip that for now. All right. When the stock market drops again, and it will, do you feel Bitcoin will drop again, just like Black Thursday? And if so, would you suggest to wait for the drop? This is probably a question for you, Bill. So if legacy markets crash, will Bitcoin crash?
Okay. So this goes back to what we were talking about with the Bitcoin halving. You mentioned everyone was talking about buying the huge dip. And you actually brought up the point that when everyone's talking about buying the dip, there either is no dip or it crashes after everyone buys the dip. In this case, there really wasn't any dip. Okay. It maybe went to like what, 8K. So I think there's going to be a decoupling, right? I think legacy markets are going to go down again, but I think the Fed's just going to absorb them. Literally. Like if the Fed has to buy the whole stock market for 14 trillion, as soon as it starts going down, particularly in an election year, that they'll do it. So I know it's kind of an old school theme of don't fight the Fed, but I love it because it's crypto positive, right? You know, equities will go down 5% and the Fed will just come in and just start draining securities again. There's not going to let it go down. I mean, yes, it is asinine that, you know, the equity market thinks there should be a V-shaped recovery, right? But I think we're entering a period where folks have had time to think about it. In other words, we went through this, oh God, sell everything, but now people have had 2 months to process it. So rational thinking may come back into the mix.
All right, and there you go. Straight from Bill. All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, so somebody has chimed in with his thoughts on the, this is coming from Joe Ball. He's saying orthodox meaning common, mainstream. Okay, so let's go back to his question now. Just to... Okay, so basically he's saying Arthur Hayes put out a report. I have pulled up the report a few days ago. So he wants our take on the average time frame for Bitcoin to become mainstream, basically. I mean, so I think what threw me off is the word average, because Bitcoin hasn't yet gone mainstream. So are you talking about like average prediction? So this is the report he's talking about. It's a blog post 2 days ago by Arthur Hayes. In the beginning, there was a house. And I've not had a chance to read this, so I'm just kind of going based off of the comments and on YouTube. But basically the question is, when will Bitcoin go mainstream? In terms of time frame, I mean, honestly, nobody knows. We're all just purely speculating. We're just guessing, really. We do try to apply some rationale and logic to our educated guesses, but at the end of the day, nobody really knows. We're all just purely speculating. But okay, now that that's out of the way, let us speculate. Okay, Bill, any idea when you think Bitcoin could go mainstream?
Sure. So I was recently in Austin, Texas, in this fancy mall, which is empty. So lots of high-tech office buildings, lots of condos. It's empty. It's like a ghost town. So how do these retailers get everyone out of their house? How do they do it? Well, they got to get the crypto crowd to come in and pay with Bitcoin. So retailers have got to figure it out, or they're all going away. Restaurants. So the answer to the question is, when does it go mainstream? When somebody actually makes money and gets a bunch of customers doing it. It takes one person, it takes one entity to have that happen before everybody goes, okay, I'm doing it too. So it may take a couple of months, but once that accelerates, it'll be like everything else in crypto. It'll just ramp.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think Bitcoin is ready to go mainstream yet. I mean, maybe for trading or investing, or kind of as Bill likes to say, maybe as the new video game system for people who want to make money or just play games and just gamble in a way. But from a user interface, user experience perspective, Bitcoin is far away from going mainstream. Because, I mean, until non-techies can use Bitcoin without having to learn all kinds of things like hex and storing their Bitcoin in a hardware wallet, things like that. I mean, that's far from mainstream. That's still kind of in geek territory, right? Because right now, just kind of speaking candidly, you have to be a geek to know how to use Bitcoin, right? And that's not really going mainstream. Mainstream is anybody can use it, even the people who aren't geeks. So until Bitcoin and crypto in general can improve the user experience to a point where non-geeks can use it, it won't really go mainstream. I mean, the price can pump, but for it to really be stable, it has to be something non-techies can use. And I think with the time frame on that, my guess would be maybe 5 years. I mean, obviously things can move faster, but I think as a safe guess, I would say about 5 years. I would say, let's say 3 to 5 years from now. Okay. Now, but as Bill said, I mean, things can kind of just go viral, because if somebody solves it, that could really just open the floodgates where everything just now starts coming, and it's an avalanche. It's a flood. So with that being said, that's kind of my take on it. Bill has shared his as well. Feel free to tell us in the comments what you think. How long do you think it will take for Bitcoin to go mainstream? All right, so thank you for that. That was from Joe on YouTube. Okay, going on to the next question here. Have you looked at Energy Web Token? Big partnerships, Shell, EDF, also part of Baseline Protocol. Okay, I've not looked into this. I'm guessing this is different from Energy, the blockchain by Tommy World Power, NRG. Baseline Protocol I have heard of, but we haven't really looked much into it, to be honest. So can't really comment on this, unfortunately. So I think we'll just have to skip this since we don't really have much information on this. Okay, all right. Next question from Mentimeter. What are your favorite DeFi projects and why? All right, well, this is a great question. I think this is also a question we had on our Moon Awards, that were basically where we had our community vote on their favorite projects, people, services providers in the space, and we've been posting that on our blog. And we also put up a video recently called Best Stablecoins, and I think we'll also be doing one specifically on DeFi projects. But just kind of speaking right now off the top of my head, projects I like. Now, do note, I personally haven't used all these projects, but I've just kind of been keeping tabs on them. I would say Uniswap is definitely one. that almost anybody in the DeFi space has to keep an eye on, because this is a project that's blowing up. They just launched version 2 this week. So definitely keep an eye out, right? If you go here, version 2 is live. One site I like to keep track of everything in the DeFi space is called DeFiPulse.com. So if you go there, it's kind of like the coin market cap for DeFi. So I would say our top DeFi projects, we like Maker. Maker has regularly been rated well on Token Metrics. We like Synthetics, has great technology. Fundamentals not quite there, but from a technology standpoint, our developers like Synthetics. Compound is popular. I haven't used them. Right now, we're in the process of researching Aave, so stay tuned. Aave used to be formerly called ETHLend. Then they had a rebrand. Uniswap is over here as a DEX. DYDX is also a popular margin trading DEX. Banco, we don't really like. We recently did do a in-depth report and review on Kyber Network. So Kyber has great fundamentals. From a purely fundamental analysis perspective, Kyber is great. It's a top 5 project purely based on fundamentals. However, where it lacks is the technology, because it's basically a liquidity protocol and it's competing with so many other liquidity protocols. Because if we go here to DEXs, Uniswap and Banco has twice as much locked up versus Kyber. Uniswap has more than about 6 times as much locked up. So it's not really that innovative from a technology standpoint. Now, they do plan to launch a Kyber DAO. I forget what the name was, what they're calling it. I'm not sure if it's Crystal or something like that, but that could be something of value. But right now, it's basically yet another DEX, and it's losing the DEX race at the moment. So from a technology standpoint, we think Uniswap is better. Uniswap hasn't yet launched their own token, to my knowledge. So in terms of what you can invest in, only Banker and Kyber. Loopring as well, I think, has a token. Now, DeFi projects are beginning to launch their own cryptocurrencies or tokens. I know Compound is launching a governance token, and there was one other project that launched the UMT. I forget what the full name is, but they launched the UMT token, and that was launched on a DeFi platform. So those are pretty much our favorite DeFi projects. Bill, do you have any DeFi projects you like?
I do.
Right.
I've always got 1 or 2 dark horses. I like Kava. It's kava.io.
Mm-hmm.
I actually talked to the guy that ran it. It looks like old-fashioned margin lending for like Ether and cross-chain communication type things. So it's like for traders, for traders who want to like get leveraged, right? So what does Warren Buffett say when everyone's fearful, be greedy? So when the whole world is, understandably upset, lever up, borrow some money, and buy more Ethereum. So that's if you follow that thinking, Kava is just interesting.
All right, there you go. Now let us know, are there any DeFi projects you personally like that we haven't had a chance to talk about? Please share them in the comments down below. All right, so we've had somebody who's been causing lots of noise. Alpha Diallo, what's up, man? So he's been asking us to take a look at Kin. So, I would say just purely from a fundamental analysis perspective, we've not really been bullish on Kin. I haven't had a chance to look at their TA. Bill, could you pull up their TA real quick? Because I know they're in the lawsuit battle with the SEC, so I can't really imagine the TA looking any good right now.
Okay, so here it comes. Okay, so I just drew this quick on Kin, right?
Yeah.
And what you have is, because there's a fundamental problem, most likely, as you noted, that every time this thing hits a resistance point, you start seeing people selling it, right? So you had a couple green candles and then it comes off. So it looks like they're pumping it so they can dump it.
I mean, makes sense. I mean, they are being sued by the SEC, and then, or sorry, rather, they're in a legal battle with the SEC, so it can't really bode too well for the price action. All right.
Yeah, I mean, small crypto company versus government doesn't end well.
Yeah, and then also from a fundamental perspective, we're not really bullish on it. If anything, we're more bullish on Telegram Tron, even though they also had legal issues with the SEC. But I think it was pretty actually smooth, I would say is the word, in terms of how Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram, how he basically put out a public statement saying he's done with the project, it's dead. And I think it's really just a way for him to make the project decentralized so that nobody can touch it. Because that way it will be running by itself, kind of like Bitcoin, and it can't really be regulated. So, because I know one other party did take the code and launch Ton already. So it seems to be kind of working. All right, but let us know what you think. Do you think Ken is dead? Do you think Telegram is dead as well? Let us know in the comments. Okay, so this is a project people keep on bringing back. Almost every single live stream, people ask for this. Could you pull up Nash, Bill? NASH? And let's see if there's any TA on that. I'm not even sure if it's on TradingView, because that one is probably going to be tough to do TA.
No, I don't have it on. I don't have it on TradingView.
Okay, I think we have it on Token Metrics. Let me take a look here. So Nash Exchange. So this is going to be a quick review on Nash. We've not really been bullish on this, almost ever, from Token Metrics. So fundamentals not good, technology not good, TA is actually good. So this is purely from a value investor perspective, but also same thing for day trader. So basically, as a trade, Token Metrics is currently bullish today, short term for day traders on Nash. So looking here, all the custom indicators are bullish. If we go to the price predictions, if we have any, let me take a look. Okay, so the price predictions are also bullish on Nash. So very, very interesting. So basically, our models have kind of been almost, I would say, lockstep in terms of the trend, overall trend with Nash. Over here, as Nash began to rise, the predicted price also began to rise. Then right now, our models are predicting Nash is going to go over $1. So right now, Nash is basically predicting it's going from $1 all the way till $1.30, then pulling back. And then at the end of the month, in 30 days, actually, sorry, in mid-June, around 30 days or so, $1.25. So the machine learning models are bullish, but as we like to say, that's purely just one checklist. So it passes the price prediction checklist, it passes the TA checklist, but it's not passing the overall grade checklist. Actually, it's 74 purely. So for anybody who's looking to speculate purely as a day trade or swing trade opportunity, there is some potential on Nash, but we definitely would not recommend holding this for the long term, because there is no fundamental value on this coin. Because if we go to value investor over here, it's not a coin anybody should be holding long term. But for purely trading purposes, if you get in with your stop loss and your take profit target, maybe at $1 or $1.25, there's definitely some potential to make some money on this coin. All right, let's go on to the next question. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, this isn't really a crypto question. This is about Corona. So I'll just quickly answer this, then we move on back to crypto questions. So the question is, what are the odds we get a second wave of Corona if majority of places open up before July? I would say 1,000%. I mean, because Corona isn't really going to go away from all the reports I've heard. It's basically going to be with us like the flu, and we all have to get herd immunity. That's kind of my quick take. Bill, anything to add to that?
Yeah, sure. So it got circulated over Chinese New Year right, in March, February. Then spring break. So all the students that went to China came back to their universities. And we somehow came up with the fantastic idea of circulating it over Memorial Day, which is when everybody parties and goes to the beach for people who are not from the US.
Yeah.
So in technical analysis, things happen in threes, right? That, if you buy a book, it'll say that. So, you know, without being morbid, you know, people in the area that I live in, they couldn't get to the beach fast enough.
Yeah, because I saw a video on Twitter. This was in the Ozarks, actually, of all places. For anybody who's watched this show, the Netflix show, The Ozarks. So it's a real place, and they're showing people on the beach just partying like it was
right
a zoo. I mean, pretty much. I mean,
right. I mean, there's a movie made in the 70s about a shark called Jaws. So just check that movie out and watch what happens when everyone says it's safe to go back in the water, and then you'll have all your Corona tips you need.
Yeah, I mean, because I haven't really left my house much, just a few times to do a few errands, but I've just been here and just outside. But I mean, with that being said, though, I can't wait to travel either, but I'm probably going to wait for things to cool off a bit. All right, so next question. I think we've also kind of answered this. This is a Bitcoin TA question. We've kind of been in a big triangle for BTC since all-time high. Since rejecting, are we likely going down to 7.8 or 6K? Bottom range of the triangle. Okay, so he's bringing in the all-time high of Bitcoin as a factor. What's your take on this, Bill?
Okay, well, in English, I think just simply, you know, Bitcoin went up a lot and then it swung a lot. And now what he's referring to is the range seems to be normalizing. Okay. In other words, Bitcoin is acting more like a traditional investment rather than a shitcoin.
Yeah.
Now, do I think that everything he's talking about a triangle. So do I think that everything that's happened since the top, as painful as that bear market was, do I think everything that's going on since 2017 has been a giant consolidation for the next big move? Oh, yeah. This has been a giant coiling process that, you know, if your nose is still attached to your face after all the volatility, you know, you can be there for the real move.
All right. I mean, well said, well said. I don't think I could state that any better. All right, so quick question here from the audience. So thank you everybody for tuning in. We have a very, very active live stream. Thank you all for all the support on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Crypto family has been amazing during this lockdown, during this time of crisis, as they're printing trillions of dollars. Crypto family has pulled in together. Our channel on YouTube, the Token Metrics channel, has been blowing up. We've had over 100% growth in the last month. And so thank you all for joining the channel. All right, so the question is, let me go through here. Apologies, we do have lots of questions, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. Okay, so this comes from RJ Jamal. BTC fees keep rising. Do you think an alt like Litecoin will rise as people use Litecoin to move between exchanges or to wallets? Honestly speaking, I don't really think so. Now, I know Litecoin has been a top 10 cryptocurrency, but from our perspective, the fundamentals in Litecoin are not there. If anything, they're actually horrible. So Litecoin is purely a fork of Bitcoin where they just changed a few parameters, and that's really it. Because our team is now doing a in-depth report to our customers on Litecoin that we plan to send out, I would say probably in a month or so. And going through Litecoin is just Charlie Lee. I mean, if you go on the website, there isn't really much about Litecoin. And now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Charlie Lee is a great guy, but one guy alone is not gonna make this cryptocurrency do well. I mean, I think he even would tell you that, right? Because he basically forked Bitcoin to create Litecoin, to make Litecoin the silver to Bitcoin's gold, just as a technology experiment that then took off. I don't think he really envisioned that it would become this like over $1 billion in market cap. So with that being said, I mean, I would not be holding Litecoin long term, me personally, but I know Bill likes Litecoin from a TA perspective, and I think also from just some other points. But I mean, Litecoin I think just had first mover advantage, because nowadays we have stablecoins. Stablecoins can achieve the same thing, and there are also other cryptocurrencies that can move faster than Bitcoin. So honestly, I don't really think Litecoin will do well because of that, based on Bitcoin fees increasing. But Bill, what's your take on this?
Well, the only reason to like Litecoin is that everyone else hates it. I mean, it's really the only reason to just take a look at it. I like it as a chart guy because it just seems to like lead moves in big cap crypto. Like it leads Bitcoin. So there'll be a 10% pump in Litecoin, and then the rest of the crypto space will take off. Right. So I just noticed now if it also has a function of helping move money around faster, you know, that could be interesting. You know, if everybody goes to Bitcoin all at once and that whole blockchain slows down. However, these are not reasons to invest in it, right? Like me making a joke about liking it because everyone's hating it. That's not how you do portfolio homework. So,
yeah, I mean,
like I know Novogratz absolutely hates it. Like he just like wants to short it and have it go to zero.
I mean, I don't think I'll quite go there because it is crypto. I mean, crypto, anything can happen. I mean, crypto, you can be right, but wrong a lot for longer than you expect, right? Because I mean, there's so many coins. Like just look at BitConnect. There are some people that were right about BitConnect, but long term, it took a long time for the market to adjust, and for BitConnect to go down to zero. But okay, that's just kind of our take on it. But hey, do you like Litecoin? Tell us in the comments down below. All right, Bill, how are we on time with you?
I got about 15.
15? All right, cool. Owais is saying, yeah, even Charlie Lee left Bitcoin. Yeah, so Charlie sold most of his Litecoin he mentioned. So, I mean, if the only guy working on the project sells his bags, there isn't really much incentive left. I mean, because the funny thing is in crypto, there are so many believers who, once Charlie Lee got out, kept on holding. And if you now go back to the charts, it was textbook the top of Litecoin when he got out. Litecoin never really recovered ever since then. I mean, so that tells you he maybe knew something was up. All right, back to the AMA here. So thank you to everybody who's been sending questions via Mentimeter. Okay, we're getting so many questions that are pretty much the same. So I'm going to skip some questions because I think we've already answered them. Okay. Joe Davedos of Neo, formerly of Microsoft, who basically developed .NET, is head of development for Neo. Do you see his ties with Microsoft a plus for what can happen to Neo and blockchain in general? Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say working for Microsoft is definitely a plus. So, I mean, I think anybody would say that. We are bullish on Neo. On the last few live streams, I think either 1 or 2 weeks ago, our models were bullish on Neo in the short term and also in the long term as well. And that was when they had some big announcement to make. And I think that they have made the announcement. I'm not sure. I haven't really kept tabs on it. But Bill, what's your take on Neo from a TA perspective?
All right, I'm just pulling it up here. All right, almost there.
All right.
Okay, there we go. All right. So here comes the share. Okay, so with this, so there was a big up move in the fall, right? And then there was this sort of giant consolidation that they did. Okay, and what I noticed is it held right here. at the 76%, sort of what they call retracement of the big move up. So it looks like this thing is trying to go up. It's trying to do what's called build a base, right? So one saying that is out there is the bigger the base, the higher in the space, meaning the longer something sits still, the greater the chances that it goes up, right? Like that's why I put my Ethereum chart on the wall, because I just wanted to reassure myself that Ethereum has been making this giant base for so long. And then when it finally goes, it's going to be big. Now with NEO, it's a much smaller example. So I don't know if, the Microsoft angle is better, outweighs the China angle, but, NEO looks like it's trying to build a base and hold support.
All right. I mean, there you have it. So now actually, let me see if I can pull up Token Metrics here real quick. Just give me 1 second. So let me pull up what our models are saying on NEO as well, because I think they've basically been in the same camp on NEO. They've basically been pretty bullish. All right, so apologies, this is taking some time to pull up here. Okay, so very bullish on NEO right now, long term even, right? Overall grade is 82%. If we go to day trader, it's also bullish, 81%. So if we go to price predictions, so yeah, so kind of textbook what Bill said. So basically our models are predicting a slight dip, basically building the base, and then they predict a recovery. So right now it's about $10. So they're thinking it's gonna go as low as, let's see, as low as $9 or so, $9.11. Then it's gonna recover and go all the way to over $11 to over $12. No, $13. So $13.55 is the prediction. So just like Bill said, the stronger the base, the higher the what, Bill?
the bigger the base, the higher into space.
The bigger the base, the higher into space. So
I mean, the longer something bases, when it finally goes, it's tremendous. Now, I don't know that we're making a tremendous base in NEO, but it does look like we are making one.
Yeah, I mean that's great news. So for anybody out there who's holding NEO, I mean this looks like positive news. So I mean, especially with the market going sideways, this could be one of the first coins to possibly move during alt season. All right. Okay, so let's go on here back to the AMA. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask, go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 794472. That's 794472. And if you haven't yet already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to like, turn on notifications, because not everybody, for some reason, the YouTube algorithm, not everybody gets notified, even if you're a subscriber. So definitely make sure you turn on notifications so you get alerted when we go live. All right. So here we have the next question. Bill, what is going on with Chinese stocks and Trump? Muddy Waters, famous short seller, getting real loud. Okay, take it away, Bill.
Okay, well, I mean, when I saw the announcement that, I want all American funds to get out of Chinese stocks, that's all theater, right? It's theater. It's not, it sort of influences price action, but I mean, I can recall past American presidents, like if a Chinese communist government released a virus made in a lab that, killed more people than the Vietnam War, I could see certain other American presidents doing a lot more than saying, we're not going to invest in you anymore.
Now, so could you kind of maybe give us some context for everybody who has no idea what's going on?
About?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, let's face it, folks. I mean, I think it's an understood thing that this virus was made in a lab and that it got out. And the lab was, we gave some money to the lab, but it was in China and it was a Chinese government's responsibility. Now look at what's going on in Hong Kong, right? Everybody would like to be a free person in Hong Kong is about to get fire hose, tear gas, or worse. So, they're just not nice people. Communists historically are not nice people. If you just pick up the history book or Google it, I mean, it's just, they're not nice people. Right. So when the president gets on and says, we're going to, not invest in these stocks, it's just the tweet of the day. Right. Past American presidents.
So Trump said no Chinese stock investments is what he said?
No, he was talking about, I think, some sort of public sector investment funds.
Okay.
We're going to, not do Chinese stocks anymore.
Basically boycott China.
Right. I mean, past American presidents would have been talking war. Right. Now, I think it's a good thing we're not talking war, but
that'll be bad for everybody.
that'd be bad for everybody. But
yeah, I mean, because China has 1 billion people, 3 times the force, in a way.
Right. They have a lot, and but anti-Chinese sentiment is very high, from what I understand, and that can cost them from a business point of view. And I think they're actually about to make a really big mistake by smashing dissent in Hong Kong. I think that's going to make them look even worse. So, what Trump says about it, it's just a tweet of the day.
Yeah. Now, I mean, from my perspective, I haven't seen any of the news or tweet, but I did have a bank account and business entity in Hong Kong. And this was even before the whole pandemic. This was when the Hong Kong protests were happening. And I was like, why am I in Hong Kong? I mean, so then you add on the pandemic. So I ended up just shutting up shop. I'm like, I'll just open up a different entity elsewhere because I wanted to kind of have a hedge outside of America. So we had 2 entities, one in Hong Kong, one in Cayman Islands. And it didn't really make much sense because the world was changing before our eyes. And there was just so much, and there were so many random events happening. And I knew regardless of what happened, eventually Hong Kong will end up being owned by China. I think the deadline is like 2050, something like that. Basically, when Hong Kong, because the treaty they had with the British is that I think that Hong Kong would be an independent country for, I believe, 99 years, something like that. So, I mean, it's definitely interesting times. Definitely not here to speculate. I know Bill mentioned the corona coming from a lab, and somebody, I think a month ago, kind of didn't like that. So we're not here to speculate on anything per se, but I mean, it definitely came from somewhere. And we'll just end right there with the whole pandemic.
All right.
All right. So maybe let's take one last question before you leave, if you have more time, Bill.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. What's the potential valuation of Ethereum if banks and countries start to create their stable currency on its platform? For example, Visa's digital currency patent on Ethereum's platform. Okay, so I want to take one last go at this, Bill, in terms of Ethereum's market cap in the future, if all this happens.
Well, I mean, this is almost like asking, what's the securities market worth, or what's the New York Stock Exchange worth, right? I mean, there's no answer to that question, but that's what Ethereum is headed to becoming. I think if the guy wants a mathematical answer, I don't know. I think Ethereum's market cap has got to be, like Ethereum and Ripple used to go hand in hand. It should be Ethereum and Bitcoin. It should have the same market cap.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as well. For those who follow us, we're very bullish on Ethereum. We think Ethereum will eventually surpass Bitcoin in market cap, so the flipping will happen. We think on a safe time frame, by the year 2030, in 10 years, Ethereum will have a larger market cap. I think for perspective, the derivatives market is about $500 billion. Now, the World Economic Forum predicts that in about 7 years, so by 2027, 10% of the world's assets will be tokenized. So if we kind of use those two as a perspective, so if we say, okay, maybe 10% of $500 billion gets tokenized, that's a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's basically over 50 billion.
Right. It's like a whole new financial system.
Yeah. And I think DeFi is going to be at the forefront of that. And then fundraising, ICOs, STOs, all that is dormant right now, but I think it's going to come back in style once regulators really come up with a framework, especially here in America, that can really handle this. So we think there is no limit to Ethereum's growth, right? The sky is not the limit. The moon is not the limit. But obviously, it is cryptocurrency. Always do your own research and make sure you don't invest more than you're willing to lose, because just because we think it's bullish, anything can happen. All right. So with that being said, let us know what you think in the comments below. All right, Bill. Any last words? It was great having you on the show, and I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. Thank you, Bill. And be sure to follow Bill on Twitter at @crypto_noble to follow his Gann charts. All right.
All right, Ian. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. All right.
We
Just landed on the moon in the Lambo. All right.
Taking pictures with
Time for the second segment. So if you have not yet already, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share all these videos, all this content with your friends. Get all your friends in crypto, your friends not in crypto yet. We're posting daily videos on our Token Metrics YouTube channel. So for anybody who's looking to get into crypto, daily videos on all the questions you guys are bringing us. I mean, this is, I think, one of the few channels where we do live AMAs on any question. Any question you bring, we'll answer it live. Then we'll also take the clips posted on our channel for you to go and watch later. So making sure everybody has a chance to go through and just learn. Education, knowledge is power. Okay, all right. Let's go on. So for those, if you still have any questions, go to menti.com, MENTI.com. Use the code 794472. That's 794472. Okay, so this is an interesting question. Hi, Ian and Bill. I managed to have 20 projects. I have been building my portfolio since 2018. My friends keep discouraging, saying too many coins is not a good strategy. Is he right? Okay, great question. Whoever asked that, great question. Obviously, Bill's not here. He had to hop off. But from my perspective, actually not my perspective, but from my research. So I read the book, classic book by Benjamin Graham, who's really the father of value investing. He was the mentor of Warren Buffett, who's the best value investor of our time. So in the book, The Intelligent Investor, they state that a good portfolio, a diversified portfolio, holds anywhere between 10 to 30 stocks. So basically 10 to 30 investments. And I think that's really a good perspective to have. So if we apply the same thing to crypto, obviously crypto is different from stock investing, but we think the same perspective, because at a minimum, to have a diversified portfolio, I believe you have to have you have to have 10 or more investments. This is talking about investments in the same class, the same asset class. So for crypto, I think this is why I think Bitcoin maximalists are wrong, because having just Bitcoin and no other form of cryptocurrency to diversify your investment is not really the best thing. I mean, unless maybe most of your money is tied up in legacy markets like stocks, bonds, real estate, and then crypto is really just a small hedge. But I think if you're all in on crypto and you're looking to invest, you have to diversify outside of Bitcoin and into the other cryptocurrencies. And I think at a minimum, you have to have more than 10, and you have to have less than 30. I think once you get past 30, you're really just creating a market index. And at that point, you might as well just do an index. So 20 is somewhere in the sweet spot. What I would personally do, though, is I would do a portfolio audit and ask yourself, why are you holding this cryptocurrency? And you have to know what you're investing in. Because if you don't know what you're investing in, you will get shaken out. That first rocky road, when that spaceship is floating in space and you're going past the moon and you're going to the next galaxy, the next universe, and you hit an asteroid storm, you'll get shaken out because you haven't done your research. So I recommend whatever you invest in, read their white paper, follow them on social media, follow the blog posts, make sure you know how the project works. Because if you can't explain what those 20 cryptocurrencies in your portfolio do, you probably should not be holding it. Okay, because that will prevent you from getting wrecked so many ways. Because most people who get wrecked because they bought something they didn't do any research on. They just blindly listen to people, whether me, Bill, or others, or even Token Metrics, or just people on Twitter. Didn't do any research. They just got in purely on price. They get in pretending to be value investors. Then as soon as they hit some pullback or a flash crash or whatever, they get shaken out. They get scared and they sell. They sell and they basically capitulate because they haven't done their research. Because when you do your research on something, for example, I'm very bullish on helium. I mean, I think helium could really do 100x. But I mean, I don't just stop there. I've gone through, I've read their white paper, I'm following them on different social media channels, talking with other helium investors, learning from them. For example, somebody told me recently there's a helium OTC Telegram channel that has over 1,000 people in it. I was like, what? Right? Then I joined the forum. The forum has people who are hacking, well, not hacking, but optimizing their hotspot gateways with longer antennas and hooking them on the roof so that they get better signals. And those people who are doing things like that have been crushing people like us who just have the stock antenna that comes with the kit. So just learning things like that, like when you're all in and you're just hungry and doing research and you're involved in the community, now doing that with every project you invest in takes time. So it's very tough to do that with 30 projects, to be that deeply entrenched in investing, because otherwise you're basically just purely trading, you're speculating. So I would say, look at the 20 cryptocurrencies you have, and can you go deep on all of them? If you can't, then I would minimize to only those you can go deep, and really, you want to be an expert in every cryptocurrency you invest in. I think that's really the best way to kind of frame it. So the thing is, can you be an expert in 20 cryptocurrencies? If you're full-time, and then maybe. But if you're part-time investing in crypto, if you have a full-time job, 9 to 5, even if maybe during the pandemic you have time, but maybe once the pandemic is over and people go back to work, will you have time to keep tabs on all these projects? Because that's typically when you get wrecked, because maybe something happens with one of those projects that you aren't aware about because you didn't do your research or you haven't been following the updates. Maybe one of the founders leaves, or maybe there's some kind of vote or something, right? It is crypto, stuff happens, even with good projects. For example, with Loom, like 2 of the co-founders stepped down, one last year and one this year, right? And now the project is really pivoting to an entirely new business model. So if you weren't keeping tabs on Loom, and because you had so many holdings in your portfolio, I mean, that changes everything. So I would say have more than 10 investments, but you want to be an expert in all of them, which is tough to do. So that's why you kind of want to limit how many coins you have in your portfolio. But hey, I mean, let me know what you think. Anybody with any thoughts? How many coins do you have in your portfolio? Do you have more than 30? Do you have less than 10? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, let's check in here with our audience and see how we're doing. $500 billion is 500 billion. Okay, I'm sorry. Apologies. You caught me. I was live. Okay, Theta is going to be pre-installed into new Samsung phones. Any thoughts? That Token Metrics looks really cool. Can you do KCM Kusuma with it? We don't have that yet, unfortunately. But yeah, thank you for the kind words. Be sure to sign up for Token Metrics if you haven't yet already. As mentioned before, this has been our best month to date. So thank you for all the support. What about Icon? Okay, what about Icon? Do you think Ghost by McAfee will moon tomorrow after the airdrop? I mean, honestly, the video we did on Ghost has already performed pretty well. So there's definitely an interest in it. And I mean, from my perspective, it's really an airdrop, right? So I think some people will sell and take profits, but I mean, it's basically free money. So I'm not sure exactly what the market cap is, what it's going to open up as. If it's a low market cap, there could be potential for growth, because if it's kind of like just a very low cap and very few people have claimed it, then it could act kind of like Hex. Hex says, I mean, has really blown the people's minds. But I would definitely not recommend holding Hex long term. Only if you got the free claim, meaning that it was free money and you're playing with house money. That's the only time I'd really recommend even speculating or trading with Hex. But I mean, I know on Twitter people were saying that the project was really just a fork of Pivx. So basically the Pivx team called them out saying they copied their white paper. So basically they forked their code, copied the white paper, and launched their own cryptocurrency. I mean, that's savage. I mean, John McAfee is savage. And now they're basically printing their own money. But hey, I mean, it is crypto. It is open source, right? Because that's kind of what, in a way, is pretty amusing with the crypto space. You have first of all, you have projects and developers who claim open source. Then when somebody actually takes the code, the free open source code, forks it, and builds something that could possibly be better, then they start hating. Because then you're like, but you made it open source. I mean, if you didn't want people to take your code, you shouldn't have made it open source. But I mean, that's kind of the way it is. I mean, but for me personally, I love open source. I mean, right now I've been planning and looking to almost shift everything I do as much as I can to just open source technology, because from a privacy standpoint, from a security standpoint, it's better, it's more optimum, it's secure. I mean, we're able to audit the code. So I mean, open source is the way to go, and it's the future. I think it was the founder of, wasn't Reddit, it was some company where they basically took as much open source code as they could, put it on hard drives, and put that somewhere, I think in Antarctica, in case for some reason all humanity is wiped out, we can rebuild by having open source code. I mean, I found it pretty amusing. But yeah, open source code is the future. So if you're not on open source, try it, because it's the most secure way to run software. All right, let's go back here to the AMA. What do you think about Iran fully accepting cryptos and recently mining, and that Russia is proposing a law to ban Bitcoin that involves big fines and jail up to 7 years? Okay, so I have heard about this in the news. First of all, Iran has been dealing with economic sanctions from, I would say, America and Western Europe. So for the most part, to them, it's just really about survival. They're looking for a way to survive. Cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is the way forward. So that's why it makes sense they're going all in on crypto. It's really because Iran is really a nuclear power as well, and they can leverage what they have for mining crypto. So for them, it's really getting out of the petrodollar and the American dollar being the reserve currency. So I can definitely see why they would do that. I mean, I think it's good. It's good for crypto. Might kind of cause some tensions with Iran adopting crypto mining, because obviously the US and the UN and other parts of the world have some tensions with Iran. But Russia proposing a ban on Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin and crypto is highly adopted in Russia. So, and the Russian government and Putin have been pro crypto. So I would be shocked that they would even do this. I mean, I think it's just theater. I don't really expect this to pass. I mean, I would be shocked if this passed, because I mean, Russia has also been dealing with some sanctions with America and other parts of the world. So crypto is their saving grace. That's why they've been pro crypto. So I would be shocked if they're stupid enough to ban Bitcoin, because you can't even ban it. I mean, maybe they're doing it as a way to then create their own state-backed cryptocurrency. But I mean, if they know the way Bitcoin works, they know they can't really ban it, right? So I think this is just theater. I don't really expect this to pass at all. I'll be shocked. I mean, I'm not really a betting man, but if I had to bet, I would bet that this would never pass. Alrighty. Okay, what's the meaning of saying bears are controlling the market? Okay, so bears are people who are pessimistic on the price of an asset. So if we look at Bitcoin or crypto, if we say bears are controlling the market, it's basically saying people who think the price is going down are controlling the market. Right? So it's basically saying there are no buyers. People that are selling are dominating. So imagine you have a pie chart, 100%. So well, actually, no, a pie chart is probably not the best way to represent this. Let's say we have just a line, right? It's kind of like a seesaw, but I'll just say a line. So when we say it's kind of like, yeah, actually, I would say it's kind of like tug of war, where two sides are pulling on the rope. So when bears are controlling the market, bears are pessimists. Bears are looking to sell. Bears are shorting the market. They believe the market is going down. So when we say that there are more bears controlling the market, that means there are very few people buying. So there are very few people who are on the order book who are there to buy and scoop up the price. Because if there are more buyers than sellers, the price goes up. Those buyers, supply and demand, are basically fighting over a finite supply of cryptocurrencies, basically what's available, causing the price to go up. But on the other hand, the opposite is true for bears, right? When we say bears are controlling the market, it's basically saying that there aren't people there to buy. There are very few people buying and many people looking to sell, right? So there's lots of supply with barely any demand, right? So bear is basically the supply side, right? So the bears are selling their supply because they think it's going to go down. So they're also typically short the market. So that's what that basically means when we say bears control the market. But anybody else with a different way of viewing it, feel free to share down in the comments below. Okay, I'm super bullish on Matic Network. Super bullish on Matic Network, mainnet, and staking. What about you guys? I mean, we've always been bullish on Matic. This is a project we love. Long term, short term. Right now, I'm not so sure, but let me pull up what our models say. Okay, so Matic Network. Okay, so from a day trader perspective, basically short term it's not so bullish at the moment. But value investor, we've always been bullish on Matic Network. Always been bullish. But right now, short term, the TA is not quite there. But if we go to price predictions, let's see what the price predictions say. So price predictions are actually saying the price is trending downwards. I mean, it's not crashing by any means, but it's basically going to 0.017. Now, let me see if we have any longer time frames on this. Yeah, I mean, so it's basically slightly trending downwards. But I mean, long term, very bullish on Matic Network. I mean, as a low cap coin, it has lots of potential, lots of upside, good technology, good fundamentals. I mean, definitely one of our coins that we're very bullish on that we think long term could do a 10x, maybe even 100x, who knows. But obviously, crypto is risky. This is if you really want to touch low cap coins, out of all the thousands out there, this is one of the better ones in our opinion. And that's why companies like Coinbase Ventures invested, Binance did their IEO. I mean, so it's had and it has a huge community. I think the Telegram is over 30,000 people. So, I mean, that tells you a lot. But considering we discovered them when they had 0, I mean, so we were early. Like we're day 1 on Matic Network. Actually, no, sorry, we're day 0 on Matic Network. All right, that's how early we were on it. So definitely one to keep an eye on. long term. Okay, next question. This is my portfolio: 1,000 Cosmos, 5,000 Matic, 10,000 Stacks, which is Block Stack, 10,000 ADA, which is Cardano, 1,000 Tezos, 2,000 Helium, 2,000 Solana. Besides Ethereum and Bitcoin, what other projects should I invest to become a millionaire in next bull market? Well, first of all, good job with that portfolio. It is a pretty, I think, good portfolio. Not allocation wise, just looking purely at the assets in that portfolio. Those are projects we personally feel strong on as well, long term. But obviously, it's different for everybody, right? I can't give you custom tailored investment advice. I can tell you what I personally would do from my own perspective and opinion. I mean, so I would say having 10 cryptocurrencies at a minimum makes sense, right? As I've mentioned before in the show. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have 9. So if I had a portfolio like this, I would add a stablecoin. I'm not sure if you have them already, but I would actually, well, first of all, I would use Token Metrics to go through and get the top 10 cryptocurrencies based on the value investor ratings. And I'll basically just do that, but without going to that, because I'm not sure if you're already a customer or not. But I would have stablecoin lending. I would have DAI. And then I would lend that out on different platforms, right? So for example, let me see if I can get one of the platforms here. DeFi. Yeah, DeFi Rate. So DeFiRate.com is a good website to keep an eye on. It tracks different lending rates. So, because you always want to have some assets in cash if you're looking to buy, right? But you don't want it to be just purely as a stablecoin. So you might as well lend that out. So, like Fulcrum gives you 2%, DYDX gives you 2.16%, Coinlist gives you 2.4%. But maybe you go to a different stablecoin. So BlockFi is giving you 8.6% for the USDC, which is a Coinbase stablecoin. So actually, sorry, I would not do that. I would probably just, whatever cash you have in a stablecoin, I would definitely put that at maybe BlockFi is one. What other stablecoins do we have here? BlockFi also gives 8.6% for Gemini, but I think BlockFi has a minimum. So I think your minimum might not work for BlockFi actually. Just thinking about that now. What other stablecoin lending platform? Okay, so you mentioned you had Tezos, and Tezos has 10% lending on Bitfinex, so that could also be an opportunity there. Okay, but so going back to your question though, what other cryptocurrencies would I hold? Okay, I mean, I like Helium. Solana, I personally not so bullish, especially right now. Right now it's very early, it's very experimental. Obviously it has some upside because there is that price floor for staking. I think it's 90% of the auction price from CoinList. So that I get that in a way is a good hedge. I mean, Maker is a project I do like. Our team has been bullish on that. Let me just take a look and see what other projects we like that could be part of that portfolio. Yeah, I mean, Maker, we like Dash, we like Neo. We talked about that earlier today, right? Very bullish on those. I think having those in your portfolio would definitely add some value. 0x we like. Eternity, Zilliqa. I know some people earlier were asking about that. Zilliqa is ranked 12th on the Token Metrics rank index, while this market cap is 62, so there's lots of upside on that. Eternity has a market cap rank of 118 with a Token Metrics rank of 11, so the upside on that is great as well. So if we're going purely based on upside, I would say Eternity is good, Zilliqa is good, but Blockstack has more upside. So purely based on upside, like best bang for your buck. This is kind of when you already have the portfolio and you have free money laying around, you want to kind of take a home run and you're willing to strike out. let me repeat. You're willing to strike out, willing to go to zero, only investing what you're willing to lose. Okay, I don't want to hear anybody saying this coin went to zero, and that's all my money, and I'm coming back to you to blame you, Ian. No, I mean, I said take care of your portfolio, and whatever you have left, if it's something you don't care about, take a flyer, take a home run. So Eternity, I think, is one that you haven't covered. I would say look into, do research on Eternity, Zilliqa, Dash, Neo, and Maker. Maker is kind of, the market cap is already pretty high, so the upside is not quite there. It's now more of a safer play. But those are the projects we think are good that also have a good upside with a low cap. Because I know how often people are asking me, what are some good low cap coins? Well, there you go. Right now, I would also go to your portfolio and I would change the allocation, because I'm not sure. I think these are all dollar amounts, I would assume. So I would look at your portfolio and try to come up with your ideal weights and stick to those weights. And then also look at your portfolio and see how diversified your portfolio is and what's the correlation between different assets. So, I mean, because correlation is key, because you don't want to hold two coins if they both have the same correlation, because it's kind of like holding the same thing. So you definitely want to go through and calculate all of that. And we are working on making that something that's easily available on our platform to help people with their portfolio calculate how diversified the portfolio is. But hey, let me know, do you have a different way of viewing this? Would you be holding different coins? Would you be holding Chainlink or some other coin? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let me take a look at the comments here. Okay, people are saying Bitcoin is dumping. Okay, last time I looked, it was at 9,000. Has it gone down? Let me refresh. All right, so wow, we have a busy stream this week. Thank you all for the support. Bitcoin dropped as we speak. Wow, Bitcoin dropped to 86.84. Wow, yeah, Bitcoin is dropping. BTC 3K incoming? I'm not sure about that. I mean, I like Reserve. Okay, Edog on Twitter says he likes Reserve. What do I think about Digitex futures? Digitex, was that the exchange that had some drama a while back with developers and the founder? But I mean, I haven't really kept tabs on that, so I can't really say much. But typically, I'm skeptical or cautious when it comes to new cryptocurrency exchanges. Don't make me laugh. You can use all your money now. Crypto will take another 5 years for landing. Well, I mean, for us crypto geeks, we can use crypto, but I'm saying crypto has to be as easy as using Venmo, basically, for it to really blow up. ETC hard fork next week. Any thoughts? I haven't really looked at the Ethereum Classic hard fork, so I can't really give any thoughts on that, unfortunately. But I mean, there is correlation between that and Ethereum, so that the two kind of go hand in hand. Just joined Token Metrics. Love it. I saw you in Melbourne. Thanks so much. Hey, thank you, Lou. Shout out to Lou.
We just landed on the moon in a Lambo.
Hey, thank you for joining. We appreciate you being a customer. Appreciate all the support. And hey, to all the other customers as well, we appreciate you. Thank you for all the support. This has been our best month for growth. So we couldn't really do it without Crypto Family. Crypto Family in the house. And we're just here working, taking in the feedback, working with you, trying to fix all the bugs, trying to make this better. People are asking us to add price predictions on the ratings page to make it easier to know which coins are going to go up. So that is something we are going to look into. But hey, feedback, because all this is being done based on the feedback we get from our community. That's why we have these these weekly live streams, so we can get input live from you. We also have chat support where you guys can send in all the different ideas you have, and we're listening. We go through and we read every single message. Sometimes I'll be responding to support tickets, at 4 a.m. And people were like, is this really Ian Valina? And yes, it's really Ian Valina. I mean, because we're building something from the ground up, and we can't be too cool for school, right? So I have to be in tune with my audience, with our customers. So yeah, me and my assistant Ryan and Azim. I mean, because whenever somebody responds, Ryan and Azim, they have their own profiles, so you'll know it's them, right? So if the message comes from Ian Belina on our chat support, that's me. That's your boy, right? So thank you to everybody for all the support. Okay, now back to the show. Hussein says, let me just show this. Is Token Metrics useful for intraday or swing trading? Absolutely. I mean, Token Metrics is useful for everything, but I've shared this before. If you go on our channel and pull up a video, even if you just go to our website, there's a video called How to Use Token Metrics to Make Money. But let's say you're a day trader or swing trader. If you're a day trader, I would purely just rely on the day trader setting, go through here, and think of this as really a scanner to find the best possible trades in real time, right? So right now it's saying if you're looking to trade, the best trades are Binance, Neo, Cosmos, Lisk, Helium. Ignore this because because it's not technically trading on exchanges yet, and the data on CoinMarketCap, where we pulled in the data via an API, it's not correct. So, but we are still bullish from a fundamental and technology standpoint. We're just waiting on the TA. Decentraland, Bitcoin, Decred, Verge, EOS, right? So, but let's say you're looking to make a trade. You go to Binance, Neo, and Cosmos. These would be my top 3 coins to look at, right? So I would just open these up here in a new tab. They're all bullish from a TA perspective, which is great. So I would say top 5 or even top 3 in Token Metrics rank and grade. It's basically the same thing. Then with a bullish or very bullish TA score, and then I would look at the price prediction, right? I know lots of people are using purely the price predictions for trading. I would not rely purely on that because this is just one data point, and this looks just purely at past pricing data. So looking at this, I would say, all right, so our models are predicting Binance to go to $21.03. Binance right now is, where's Binance? At $16. Now, obviously, there is a huge gap here, so that is something to note of there. We also have the accuracy here of the model. So this is saying in April, it was fairly accurate for the most part. But let's go to Neo. Let's see how Neo predicts. Right, so Neo is showing accuracy at about 89%. So Neo is going to go down. So actually, this looks like a better trading opportunity. So basically, it's saying Neo is going to dip, and there'll be a buying opportunity around $9.13. So basically, around $9 or so, we could possibly buy the dip. Then Neo can go as high as $13.55. So this, I like this more than the Binance trade. Then if we take a look at Cosmos price prediction. So really I'm just comparing because all 3 are bullish, all 3 are in the top 3 in terms of short-term day trading. I would say day trading, swing trading opportunity. So looking at this, Cosmos is basically going to be flat. So based on the price prediction checklist, the winning trade would be Neo, right? So I know all this is kind of based off of that, but I would say Neo is the go-to trade, right? So now the question is, does this become a day trading or swing trading opportunity? Well, looking at the price prediction model, it's predicting the trend to dip and then go up until mid-June. So going all the way down here, so it's basically saying all the way until June 20th, things will be good for Neo. So basically from June 20th, all the way down to the lowest point. Lowest price point was 9/11. Right. So from June 2nd to June 20th, our models are very bullish on NEO. Now, obviously, this could be wrong. This is just one data point based purely on past performance, right? And we all know the saying, past performance is not indicative of future results. All right. That's why I never like to use purely the price prediction as one data point. I like to tie that in with the monthly TA trend and the overall grade, right? Because NEO is second in overall grade, it's bullish, and it has a better price prediction, right? So as mentioned before, we're looking into adding a price prediction column to make things easier for everybody. But I mean, very, very bullish on NEO. So NEO is the trade, right? But not trading advice, not investment advice, just answering your question in terms of how somebody could use Token Metrics to find day trading or swing trading opportunities. All right. But hey, if you're a customer and you're using Token Metrics to trade, let us know how you use it down below in the comments. And I'm sure other people can definitely learn from that. Okay. Is Helium on IDEX? Not to my knowledge. I've not taken a look. Is there any money to be made in Cardano? I would think so. I mean, Cardano has top 5 technology rating. So we're bullish on the technology. I signed up too. So far, so good. Oh man.
We just landed on the moon.
Moon Lambo.
Lambo.
The Cosmic 360. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. All right. You don't have bots to auto run the trading? Not yet. We don't have bots yet. That is something we do plan to have eventually. But the precursor to that are building the indices. So stay tuned. We do plan to create the Token Metrics indices. And man, these indices are going to be fire. I mean, because this is what people actually want. I mean, because people want to, because our customers have been telling us, hey, you know, all these ratings are good, but just tell me what to do, basically. And before we can build the robo-advisor, we have to first build the indices. And the indices, we're breaking them down into day trader, value investor. We'll have different time frames: daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. But I mean, daily could be a game changer for the day traders out there, because if we figure out what the best day trading opportunities are and we make that into an index, we can then track not only this, but all the other indexes, how accurate they are. And that's something people have been asking for, like, how accurate is this? And once we launch the indices, we can really tell all people who have an interest, from our customers to potential customers to the world, we can show how models perform. Because at the end of the day, all right, we have to be very transparent. And that's why we're working hard. Target time frame is sometime next month, in June. And I think this is what the people have been asking for, right? Imagine having a index that has a balance between fundamentals, technology, and TA. Or maybe somebody only cares about the tech, having an index purely based on technology ratings, and then being able to choose how often that index rebalances, right? So being able to go through and pick and view different options, such as monthly, annually, and also we'll have a log of all the trades each index is making. That's the real game changer, right? It's kind of like, it's like the good old days when I shared my blockfolio, except now, as opposed to having one blockfolio, we'll have Token Metrics indices, and we'll have several portfolios, and we'll track and compare all of them, so you know which one is performing the best. And then we'll log every single trade, every single buy, every single sell, so you know with proof, right, which one works and the exact trades we're making, when we're making them. I mean, this is gonna shock the world, I think. I mean, because I know lots of people have been saying, Ian, when are you gonna bring the portfolio snapshots back? So once we launch the index, you best believe we'll start doing snapshots, because everything will be easy. So we'll post snapshots, not of the portfolio per se, but of the performance and the growth of the portfolio, all right? But for anybody who would like to have the snapshots of the index, right, basically the holdings of the index and the trades they're making, those will be on the platform Token Metrics. And I think this is something people have been clamoring for, and we're very, very excited. Just kind of working with our developer. Just have to do some things, but we think this is really what's gonna take us to the moon and beyond. All right, because people have been saying, yes, the platform is good, but it is somewhat cumbersome to navigate, especially for beginners. And we're going to make it super easy. Super easy. I mean, because we're talking earlier about taking crypto mainstream with better user experience. Well, this is like 100x on the user experience, because it's kind of like, I mean, that's why my Blockfolio was so popular when I posted that on Twitter, on Telegram, because, I mean, people could follow every single moves we were making. Well, now we're doing the same thing, and they can follow every single moves our team and our models are making, the machine learning and AI is making. So, I mean, I think it's great for transparency, and we're very, very excited. And thank you to everybody who's joined, because this is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Some people were asking me, will this be available on the hodler plan? Okay, I mean, so if I pull up the hodler plan here, let me just quickly go to the pricing just to kind of explain to everybody. So, I mean, we haven't yet made an official statement, but the idea is most likely it's going to be available with everything, but maybe there'll be a restriction on what's being held in the portfolio, right? That's kind of the idea. I mean, either that or we just purely keep it purely for the investor plan. But I mean, because right now hodler only gets top 20 based on market cap, right? Because it might be unfair if hodler plan gets access to all the other cryptocurrencies that the other customers are paying for, right? So we may have to break it down purely based on market cap, right? There might be a market cap filter, but it's still in development. Stay tuned. Let me know what you think. If you're a customer already, let me know what you think. Which option would you prefer? And yeah, I mean, we're always taking input from you, our community. But I mean, this is definitely something we think has been one of the most requested features and benefits for the platform. And we do plan to execute on this and give it to you, because this is what the people want, you know, and the people, the customer, are always right. All right, let's go back to the AMA. we got way off track. Okay. Is gold still worth putting some money in? I guess diversifying is good. So what would be your percentage of investment in both? Well, one way to view this is if we go back here. So we have gold. We have Pax Gold in Token Metrics. And at one point it was in our top 10 value investor ratings. But that was briefly when gold was more stable. Gold right now is 1734. So looking at this, gold has a grade of okay. So they're definitely, I think there are better ways to store your money. If we go to day trader, it's even worse. So if we go here to, let me put in gold. So right now, it has a Token Metrics rank of 25 and a market cap rank of 107. But this is kind of skewed because this is the market cap of Pax Gold, not necessarily the market cap of gold. But I mean, if you have more than 30 coins in your portfolio, then it makes sense to have this. So this is basically saying this should be the 25th coin in your portfolio if you do plan to have more 25 coins, right? But for me, I typically would like to stick under 15. I would say between 10, maybe 15 at the worst. But I mean, I would say from a purely technical standpoint, as I mentioned before, the most you should have are 30 coins to really, because you have to know everything you're investing in and be an expert in almost, right? And it's obviously not, you can't really be an expert. It's just kind of an expression, but you have to know what you're investing. But if you do want gold as exposure and still want to stay in crypto, I think Pax Gold is definitely a viable option. All right, so What's your take on Tether, crazy printing, and their dodgy management regarding real supply or not? So, I mean, I've never been bullish on Tether, even though it has the most volume. Most daily trading volume and the largest market cap for a stablecoin in crypto. It is not a coin that I would like to put my money in. I mean, if anything, I would prefer to use a regulated cryptocurrency, right? So you have DAI, you have USDC by Coinbase, you have Gemini Dollar. I think all of these are better, right? Because we know Bitfinex, which owns Tether, they've had issues, right? They've had legal issues to a point where the funds they claimed were in the reserves were not actually there, right? And this is why I've always been suspect. And if we go here to the transparency report directly from their website, so last time this was updated was June 15th, 2018. I mean, I'm not sure if there's anything else that has been updated since then. Okay, so they gave us this other domain here. Let me pull that up. Okay, so here we are. So this shows current balances. So we have $9 billion USD, and we have 40 million euro. Okay. Liabilities. Is there a timestamp on this? Because here they claim Tethers are backed 100% by Tether's reserves, but we know this has not been the case all the time, right? So that's why I've always had an issue with Tether. Okay, so there is no data on this. So this is 9.1. So if we go back here, right? Because this document hasn't been updated since then. I'm not sure how often they're even supposed to update it. Okay, so while the document hasn't been updated, because this shows them having 1.9 billion USD, this shows 576 million. So okay, this hasn't been updated, but this page looks to be up to date. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're in Tether, just know that it's risky. You could lose your money. It could go under. I personally only use Tether when I'm selling on an exchange. Like if there's better liquidity on a USDT pair, then I'll use that. But it's really just to transfer money. To transfer money without losing money. Without having your money crash, right? So for example, Bitcoin is now down, what, $400? Like from 9,000 to 8,600. So imagine if you transfer that and you just lost money. So that's why stablecoin makes sense in that perspective. But I mean, I think that's what most people use it for. Because if we go to, let's find out the liquidity ratio for that, right? So pulling up Tether. So Tether here on CoinMarketCap. So they have market cap shows 8.7 billion, and the trading volume is 39 billion, right? So that's about 5 times as much. So basically, people are only using Tether to trade. So I believe that's good, right? Because the liquidity ratio of almost what? Yeah, 5 times. That means it's just traders that are using it. So that use case is fine. But I would not use Tether as a hodl, right? I think a better option is DAI, in my opinion, as a stablecoin. And if you want something that's purely decentralized, I would go with DAI. If you want something that's centralized, I would use Coinbase, right? The USDC or Gemini Dollar, because those are regulated. But hey, let me know what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. All right, let's check in here with the comments and see how we're doing. Hussein Ahmad says, man, if you merge this to bots, I mean, I will pay 1K USD for it. We just landed on the moon in a Lambo. I mean, that's the long-term vision. That's the robo advisor, right? So, because if I go here, let me go back to token metrics, right? I mean, that's what we're really building. I mean, because like this part that says robo advisor coming soon, that's the $1 billion idea right there. I mean, that's the idea that takes all of us to the moon, not just us, but the entire token metrics community. Because if all of us can trade using bots, I mean, have a bot trade for us and manage everything using machine learning and automate it, that's the home run. That's the moon Lambo. But we want to make sure we do it in a compliant and regulated fashion, because the idea is to go through and get licensed by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which will take some time. Things have kind of been slowed down with this pandemic and with us kind of building the product. But I mean, just know that we're trying to build this in baby steps. First are the indices. We test those out, fine tune them, get feedback from you. So basically, the kind of like us building mini MVPs. Okay, so we're taking our roadmap, breaking it down into different goals we can achieve. So we've built an analytics platform with the AI. Then we'll do the indices, try those out, learn, and then we get licensed, do the robo-advisor. I mean, if licensing takes a while, we may just open it up just purely maybe to our non-US customers. But I mean, being here in America, we definitely want to involve our American crypto family. So, I mean, that's really it. That's the long-term vision. But hey, thank you so much for the support, Hussein. It's always a pleasure reading these comments. Okay, so tell me when to buy now. BTC is dumping. Well, I mean, I would say go and view the TA Bill did. We had Bitcoin TA. That was the first thing in this live stream. So we kind of covered our thoughts on Bitcoin in terms of where it is, where it can go. Why touch other coins while BTC dominance is down when it goes? Well, good question, actually. All right, so the question is, why touch other coins when BTC dominance is down, or rather when BTC is crashing? Because it says when it goes up in dominance, 85 to 90, other coins will fall hard. Well, here's the thing. What happens generally for all these coins does not happen for some individual coins, right? Because not every single cryptocurrency has correlation with Bitcoin. This is crucial. This is very, very vital, right? Because a cryptocurrency that acts the opposite of Bitcoin can act as a hedge, right? So for example, in terms of correlation, it goes from -1 to +1. So -1 to +1. +1 meaning that the correlation is basically the same. They go lockstep. So if this goes up 5%, this goes up 5%. They basically copycats. They move exactly the same. But if an asset has a correlation of -1, it basically means that it goes the opposite direction. So if this asset goes up 5%, this goes down 5%. But if this other asset goes down 5%, this one goes up 5%. It's going the opposite. So when Bitcoin is going down, there's some cryptocurrencies that have no correlation with Bitcoin at all, right? One example would be Pax Gold, which is backed by gold. It's a gold-backed cryptocurrency. So my guess is that one is probably not crashing. Okay, so that could actually be a good hedge in times like this. So, but here, let's pull up Bitcoin in Token Metrics. And I think this is one of the most underused features of Token Metrics is the correlation on each coin. All right, so if we go here to correlation for Bitcoin, we're going to look for negative correlation. So this means these cryptocurrencies act the opposite of Bitcoin. They move in the opposite direction that Bitcoin moves. Apologies, it's going through and recalculating the correlation. It's doing it on the fly. So, but I mean, I think this is a feature that very few people are using. I think a lot more people could use this. And okay, there we go. Okay, so now looking at Bitcoin. So all these have correlation with Bitcoin. So they move almost exactly the same. So we have THR, Solo, ZT. We have Cosmos here. That's one we know, Cosmos, and anything else we know. Yeah, basically Cosmos. Now, if we go here, negative correlation. So YAP, not sure what the heck that is. CTSI. This is Cartesi. Cartesi has negative correlation with Bitcoin. I see HDAC, Waves is one. But okay, Cartesi is definitely interesting. We did do a report on this recently. Let me pull Cartesi up and see how that fares. Okay, so this one is down as well. So this is probably from when Bitcoin was going up. So I think Cartesi was going down when Bitcoin was going up. But in general, I mean, I think the best strategy in terms of correlation, go through all, kind of use this as a screener to give you a checklist of cryptocurrencies to research that don't have much correlation, that have negative correlation with Bitcoin. Now, just because Bitcoin goes up and they go down, does not mean that when Bitcoin goes down, this could necessarily go up, right? That's why it still makes sense to do research, right? But I think if you go through this list, there could be some cryptocurrencies that could be good hedges, right? But in general, going back to the question from the comments, I mean, just because Bitcoin is going down does not mean everything is going down. There are always individual cryptocurrencies that either still go up, maybe because there was a news event or some big development update that made that changed the fundamentals completely, right? So as an investor, we can't just blindly categorize everything, right? I know sometimes we do, right? But we always should be aware that, hey, I mean, like right now, Pax Gold is pretty stable. I mean, the whole entire market could dump 40%. Pax Gold is backed by gold, so gold is not going to dump by 40%. So let me pull this up here, right? Because just to kind of show you as a hedge, right? Pax Gold is only down 0.93%. Basically, it's down 1%. So I mean, this is one that I know is definitely not correlated. So if we go here to correlation, it has no correlation with Bitcoin, and it has no correlation with Ethereum, right? And actually, it has negative correlation with Tether, USDT. So it's a good hedge against the dollar, obviously, because it's gold. All right, so that's kind of the way I view it. So regardless of what's happening with market dominance or with Bitcoin, you should always be on the lookout for individual coins that don't follow the way the market moves, that don't follow the way Bitcoin moves, because that's how you hedge, you save your money, you save your wealth, and then you make more money. All right, but let me know if you have any take on this. As usual, share in the comments down below. Oh man, I mean, I've been talking for a while. Need to have some water. Okay, let's go back to the AMA. People have jokes here. What is Suppo's slam dunk shitcoin? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't been keeping tabs on it. I know some people have been talking about it in Telegram groups, but I mean, I do follow him on TikTok. I know he was making videos on TikTok. Looks like he's back. I mean, I was trying to get in touch with him to interview him for the 100X show. So Superman, if you're watching this, man, hit me up on WhatsApp. Would love to have you on the show to do an interview. In terms of your top coin, I don't know what it is, so even I can't roast it. But all I know is if it's in our top 10 ratings, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know what coin it is, but if it is, then you know it's legit. Okay? Then if it's in the top 10 Token Metrics rank, then we can co-sign. But for example, with Tika Tiwari, his list, we really couldn't co-sign any of those coins because our team did our own research. Obviously, it's just our subjective opinion. We can't really have the same viewpoint on that, but we were not bullish on it. And I know some people were already complaining about some of the coins underperforming or being down like 40%. But I mean, so some of them pumped. They basically were pumped and dumped. I mean, because once the list came out, the euphoria was crazy. I mean, what's the term I'm looking for? The exuberance was through the roof. They pumped, came back, boom, down to earth, right? But let's wait and see. But you guys already seen our video. We put out our own version called 10 coins to 10 million, which is already doing pretty well. And I don't really think we need to put out any more videos regarding that topic, because you guys know our take. We'll just let the market decide, right? The market just come back a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, and let's see who made 10 milli. I mean, right? That's really the best way to settle the debate. But in terms of Supo's coin, I don't know what coin it is, so I can't personally comment on that. Alrighty. Are we gonna finish all these coins here? That would be good. Somewhere on Reddit, they show a picture of meeting of the CEO of Helium and Coinbase. Do you think Coinbase might add HNT in the future? Oh man. I mean, first of all, yes. I mean, as you guys have seen on past videos and also on Token Metrics, we're very bullish on Helium. HNT, this is the future, right? I mean, to show you how bullish I am on Helium, I mean, first of all, I've been mining, but I've been doing research, and because my router has not been giving me as many tokens as other people, right? Because I'm here in the suburbs of Maryland, in the basically middle of nowhere. But a friend of mine, Barry, who actually watches the show, he's in New York City, in Manhattan, and he's making like 10x the amount of tokens a day I'm making, I believe. And because the way Helium works, you earn more if there are more routers, more hotspots near you, right? So if you're in an area with very few hotspots, you can only earn from the internet. But if you're in an area where there are hotspots together, I think that the length is less than 300. Is it feet? Yeah, I think 300 feet might be. Don't quote me on that. I have to double check their documentation. But so if there are many devices next to each other, man, you can just make money. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, to a point, I'm thinking. I definitely want to think about getting a second device. I'm not sure if it's going to work if it's here in the same vicinity as mine. Because I don't think it's that easy where you just buy two hotspots and you put them next to each other. Because I think there has to be some distance apart still. But I have to go through and check the documentation and the Slack channel. But I mean, technology-wise and the backing they have, I can definitely envision them getting onto Coinbase. I mean, I think when their market cap gets over 100 million, you best believe I think it's going to get into Coinbase. Because same thing with Matic Network. Because from a source close with the team that will remain anonymous and unnamed just for privacy, but basically they told me that typically Coinbase likes a project to have traction and a large market cap, right? So they don't want projects with a very low market cap to go on there, because I mean, they're an exchange, they want volume. Because for example, Loom got on there with a market cap less than 100 million back in 2018, but Loom hasn't done squat now, and it's barely being traded last time I checked. So I think they're trying to avoid things like that happening. But yeah, I mean, I'm very bullish on Helium. I almost moved to New York City so I could get 10x on my Helium rewards. I mean, like that's how vital I think this is. I mean, like I may just relocate to New York City just for Helium. Now, obviously, I'm kidding, but in a way, I'm kind of serious too. But the only downside is New York City is expensive, and right now I'm trying to be frugal. We're going into a global recession, but I mean, Helium, do not sleep on Helium. I mean, I'm not trying to shill, but when Helium does well, like I think it's going to do well, I mean, Helium's really going to show us that, okay, this system we have of reviewing Token Metrics is working. And I think Helium can honestly be a way to make up for Sparkster. I mean, because I know lots of people took that L on Sparkster. Actually, we have some music. Right? Are you a believer? And I think because if you've been taking L's, you got to bounce back, and you got to say, okay, which cryptocurrencies can bounce back? And in my opinion, Helium is one of those cryptocurrencies. I mean, for all customers, you guys see it every single day, right? You go through the ratings. I mean, because nobody's seeing Helium because it's pre-market. Yes, it's on Galaxy, and it's about 24. It's between 20 and 25 cents, which is also the same price it's selling for OTC. But once it actually shows up on CoinMarketCap, like the actual market cap and volume and all that, and people start seeing the growth. I mean, because they recently announced the the Wireless Alliance, something like that. But man, I mean, this is a sleeper that, I mean, I've been tooting my horn on this. Like, this is, if you had to tell me what's one coin that you had to put your money in that has a market cap less than 100, this would be the one. People are talking about Unibright, this, and Hex that. No. I mean, this is my coin. This is, I'm not quite all in because I've not bought crypto in over a year. I've just kind of kept what I have and gotten paid in crypto and stuff. But I mean, the next coin I'm going to buy is going to be more Helium. I mean, that's the first thing ASAP, because I'm not made the trade yet, but because 1101 hasn't panned out too well, and I still have some Chromia. So the idea was I would sell those to Ether, then I would either via OTC or maybe via Galaxy buy more Helium. That's basically my plan. All right, so because I'm all in. I mean, Helium to the moon. But once again, that's my opinion. That's what I'm doing. That does not mean that's financial advice for anybody out there to go and do. Obviously, do your own research. And as I said before, you have to read what you're investing in, right? So the white paper for Helium, I will not lie, it is technical. I mean, it was brutal getting through that white paper. I mean, and I'm a computer engineer, but even just reading that, I mean, it did bring back some memories on stuff with wireless communications, but it was technical. It was not fun. I was also going through their developer communication, but I would just say, join their Telegram. Their Slack channel. Follow them on Twitter, and just keep tabs on them. And if you're holding any Helium, know what you're investing in, right? Because that's what allows you to take those bold moves. Like with me, doubling down and trying to buy more. I'm basically selling all my underperforming shitcoins to get more Helium. It's because I think there's more upside in that, because I've done my research. Now, that doesn't mean I know everything about Helium and the technology and the hardware and all that, no, right? But I mean, I have a genuine understanding of what they're doing, and I'm seeing the growth, the network. Man, I mean, I'm just trying to step my hotspot game up, because I looked at my hotspot score. It was a 25 out of 100, which is brutal. So, I mean, I may just have to buy one of those big antennas, attach it to my hotspot, and use that, because I've seen people. Let me see if I can even pull this up to show you. I mean, this is the level of research I'm talking about doing with all the coins in your portfolio. This is why having lots of coins is very tough to do, right? So because they do have a forum. So this is called the Helium community. Actually, if this is it, where is this? Not the Twitter. Okay, apologies. I saw this somewhere. Okay, it wasn't Reddit. I saw a forum. Maybe it's not run by Helium itself. Okay, here, let me just redo a search. Helium network antenna. Okay, yeah, here we go. Right, so this is community.helium.com. Okay, so this is what people are doing with Helium, right? They're putting it in freaking cases, right? And putting this kind of putting it outside. I mean, this is the stuff I'm not doing. So I'm just trying to get with the program, right? Then if we go down here, this person put his antenna on his roof. I mean, this is next level. Right, so this is how people are getting more tokens than people like me. All right, so I'm just trying to step my game up because I'm in the middle of nowhere. Then let me see if there are any. Let me see if there are any other antennas here. Let's search antenna. So we got an antenna. Then there are also options to buy antennas off of like Amazon. But basically the stock antenna that comes with Helium, I'm learning is basically useless, right? If you really want to get the good gain, like here, this guy, he built this like a tripod and put his antenna on the roof. I mean, this is pretty funny. But I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? So this is one I think that attaches to like a wall, so it has a cable, so it goes longer than the stock antenna, right? So I mean, I'm just trying to learn all this stuff. I mean, I would not have learned this if I didn't talk to Barry and I didn't join those communities and just learn all this, because I thought I was Gucci with the one that came in the box. But if I really want those massive gains, looks like I have to go beast mode with it. But I mean, not even sure how we got to this. I think the question was about Helium getting onto Coinbase. I mean, just going based on the growth, I think if the growth continues, if Helium gets a market cap over 100 as a US based project that has VC firms like Multicoin, Coastal Ventures, Google Ventures, I think even Union Square Ventures as well, backing them, because some of those firms also backed Coinbase as well. So they have the people to help them get there, right? And if they get the traction in the community, it keeps on growing like this. I mean, Helium to the moon and beyond. But hey, I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm sticking to it. But do your own research as usual, and let me know what you think. I mean, are you on board with Helium? Are you not? Do you think this has potential? Do you think this could go to Coinbase? Let me know. Yes, HNT Helium. Okay, let me check here with the comments. Let me see here. What are we talking about? My thoughts on Telcoin. So Telcoin, we're not bullish on that at the moment. If I pull that up here. So Telcoin. Yeah, so not bullish on Telcoin at the moment. Long term or short term? Actually, why isn't this switching? Huh. Yeah, not sure why this isn't switching. But either way, I mean, not really bullish on Telcoin. All right. Will China warming up to crypto bring in more volume, or are they already in? I mean, I think it's definitely going to bring in more volume. That's kind of, I think that's really what would naturally happen. I mean, first of all, there are already many Chinese people in crypto, but if those who are not in crypto are issued a digital currency for the yuan, Chinese yuan, I mean, they'll now be accustomed to crypto, and it might be slightly different, but at the end of the day, they'll now be even more receptive to Bitcoin. Now, if China is gonna try to slow down Bitcoin or whatever, who knows, right? The Chinese government is, they'll do what they have to do, but I think it's long-term speaking, it has to be bullish for crypto. Because why? China is 1 billion people. Because to buy Bitcoin, because it's kind of like this, right? People first learn Bitcoin, then they learn altcoins. So it's the same thing. Before Bitcoin, people will learn digital currencies backed by central banks. And then once they say, oh, wow, the blockchain, this, tokens, okay, then they'll be more receptive to Bitcoin. Because they'll say, yeah, this is good, but it's centralized. Or they're tracking me. There's no privacy. Is there one with privacy? Oh, Bitcoin, or Monero, or what have you. So I think all this is is very bullish for crypto and Bitcoin going forward. Neo is a Chinese blockchain. What makes you think companies will build on it? True. I mean, all I can say is right now, compared to all the other cryptocurrencies out there, Neo is in our top 10 value investor ratings at the moment. Now that could change, but at the moment, I mean, TA is bullish, technology and everything is good. Now we have said that people have not really been building a Neo. I mean, almost every Neo ICO has failed. And there aren't really any Neo IEOs. Then all the projects I know, like Phantasma and some others that were building a Neo, they pivoted. I mean, so developers have told me the Neo hasn't been good. But that was 1 to 2 years back. Maybe things have changed. I know now they're launching Neo 3.0. But I'll tell you why I think developers will build a Neo. I think Chinese developers will build a Neo. Because when I went to China to visit KuCoin, man, that Chinese VPN is no joke. I had to pay for 3 different VPNs until I found one that worked in China. Okay? Because typically I use PIA, private internet access. Then that didn't work out. I was blocked. It was blocked for social media. Like I couldn't access like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Then I tried ExpressVPN. That didn't work. No, sorry. I tried iVPN. That didn't work. What ended up working was ExpressVPN. So and I was like, man, is that savage? Like I can't even check my tweets, you know? Like I couldn't even check Telegram, I believe. Like that's how strong their VPN was. Like even in the airport, even when you're just going through, flying in for a transfer, for a layover or whatever, like in the airport, you cannot access most American social media sites. So I'm like, if China's blocking social media like this, what makes people think Ethereum is going to even have a chance in China? Right? Because the Chinese government is going to try to block all these. And so, if anything, I think a Chinese blockchain will win the Chinese blockchain market. Right? So we have Neo or we have Ontology. Now, there are a few other Chinese blockchains, but for the most part, Neo is the biggest one. So, and I think it's Neo's race to win and lose. Ontology kind of had a nice come up early on, but it's really, I haven't heard much about Ontology ever since then, to be honest. But just kind of based on that, I mean, I think a blockchain has to be pro-blockchain, has to be pro-China to win in China, right? Yes, I know Ethereum is decentralized and it can't be stopped and all this stuff, but I mean, Chinese government stopped the crypto exchanges in China. I mean, so that's how you control them, right? They can just say no crypto exchange in China can have Ethereum, right? Or they could say no crypto exchange in the world can allow Chinese customers on, kind of like what the SEC is doing here in America. So there's so many different things the government can do to try to obstruct and slow down the adoption. So because of that, I mean, I think kind of like with Korea, right? Icon is dominating Korea because it's a Korean blockchain. Ethereum is dominating the Western world and because it was created there, right? So for China, you have to really understand the landscape, and I think a blockchain from there is the one that will dominate there. Alrighty, man, this has been one marathon. We talked about Russia banning Bitcoin. I mean, I don't think it's really going to happen. I haven't read much about it, but I don't really see why they will be pro-crypto and then ban Bitcoin. I think it's just the political theater. But I mean, I'll have to do more research on it to really give you more comments on that. How do you get helium? There are 2 ways. You buy the device and you mine it, or you buy it on an exchange. It's on Biloxi. I would be careful about buying OTC because people can get scammed OTC. After Ethereum, what is the next best platform? Okay, so I'm thinking you're talking about platforms for development, so smart contract platforms, DApp platforms. Well, right now, after Ethereum, the next best platform in our eyes, from our research, Cosmos. It's basically an internet of blockchains. with it, and it has wide adoption. Binance uses parts of Cosmos, Tendermint. Then after that, we have Blockstack. So just here on Token Metrics, right? We have Cosmos, we have Blockstack. Then after that, we have Neo, Dash, and Matic. Right? So those are the blockchains we think have potential. But Ethereum obviously is better than all those right now, based on our value investor ratings, looking at a long-term perspective. But yeah, I mean, Ethereum is good, but Cosmos is up there. And not quite Ethereum level, obviously, because it's more new, but it has lots of respect. When they launched their IEO, when they launched on exchanges, they launched with a bang. Lots of exchanges listed them, Binance, OKX, Huobi, all those, Coinbase Custody, and all these other platforms are also listing. So definitely want to keep an eye on. But it has not had a good 2020. It has been devastated. I mean, so definitely not one for traders. But now the worst seems to be over, right? It looks like there has been a recovery, because if we go here, now the TA has improved. Before it was really pretty bearish, right? But things have bounced back. If we go to performance metrics, just to kind of show you how 2020 has not been kind to, right? Year to date, it's down 39%. So actually, if anything, for anybody who has a long-term perspective, I mean, this looks to be like it's now on the process of recovery. So if we go to the price predictions, okay, price prediction shows it's still going to be going sideways, so maybe not quite a recovery. But I mean, definitely one worth keeping an eye on. So in terms of your question, what is the next best platform? In my opinion, that's what our team thinks based on our research. But hey, this is not financial advice. Let us know if you have different opinions. Always curious to learn more. Just let us know down in the comments below. All right, 3 more questions, and I think we can wrap up this live stream. What's the deal with the Ethereum Classic hard fork coming on June 1st, and what is it? Honestly, I don't know much about this, so can't really comment much. Let me see if I can maybe Google this. Ethereum Classic hard fork, because I've been hearing a lot about this. Let me see if I can get something more recent in the past week. Yeah, I'm not getting any news articles, which is pretty surprising. Okay, let's just pull up this. So this is from Ethereum World News. Okay, so Phoenix hard fork is what it's called. So it says the Ethereum Classic hard fork will happen around 1st of June at block number 10,500,839. No new coins will be minted during the upgrade. Okay, so it's known as Phoenix. Okay, let me just go straight to the source here. Okay, so we'll make ETC, Ethereum Classic, and ETH completely compatible. Okay, very interesting. Phoenix will be inclusive of the Ethereum Istanbul Network Protocol upgrades on the Ethereum Classic network. With this update, various opcodes will be added to Ethereum Classic, all of which have been in use on Ethereum network. So basically, it's being made compatible. All ETC testnets have been implemented successfully. Okay, so it looks like it's just really making Ethereum Classic compatible with Ethereum. Okay, so going back to your question, okay, I think we kind of answered that, right? So why is this a deal? Well, that means Ethereum Classic can still try to claim that they're the real Ethereum, because all the stuff that's happening with DeFi and everything, they can say we're decentralized. No central person owns Ethereum Classic. There's never been an actual hard fork that issued more coins or whatever, right? So all the stuff that the hacker took, the DAO hacker, is still working, or right? Honestly, I don't really know how this is going to perform. This is definitely a different hard fork, but ETC has had correlation. I mean, a very high correlation with Ethereum, obviously, right? Not just from what people say, but actually looking at the actual correlation. It has a very high correlation versus Ethereum. So I would just expect them to honestly move the same. And I think there'll be a short-term pump because people will be speculating on it. I mean, so if we pull this up here, let's take a look at and see what Token Metrics has to say about this. So TA is good, but it's just okay from an overall grade perspective. All right, so then if we go to price predictions, let's take a look here. Price prediction has it basically going flat. So not really much upside from the price prediction perspective. However, the TA is bullish. So maybe the recovery might take longer than expected, or maybe the price prediction is just wrong. Who knows? We just gotta wait it out and see what the market says. But definitely interesting times we're in. I mean, so many forks are happening, so many airdrops. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything. Okay, back to the. Okay, let me see. We got 2 questions. Noob question. By the way, BTC is dumping. When we see big selling, buying walls on scalpindex.com/app, what does it mean for the price in general? I've not used this site, so I can't really comment on it. Let me see if I can just search for this real quick. Hopefully this is a legit site. Okay, it looks somewhat legit. Let us pull it up. Okay, not really. Okay, see, this seems to be more for scalping, so don't really know much about it. So just to kind of make it. Okay, so I'll just kind of rephrase the question. So basically saying when we see big selling, big sell walls, big buy walls, what does that generally mean? Well, when there's a big buy wall, that means there are lots of buyers ready to buy. Right? So the price is probably going to go up. So it's a bullish event. So that means there's lots of demand and the demand exceeds the supply. So naturally, basic economics 101, supply, the price is likely to go up. Then on the other hand, if there's a huge sell wall, that means there are lots of people looking to sell. That means there's very little demand and many people looking to sell. So naturally, once again, economics 101, supply and demand, the price is going to go down because when there are more people looking to sell, those people selling will compete against each other to give a lower price because they want to get rid of the asset they have. They want to liquidate to go to cash because they think it's going lower. So that's kind of what we talked about earlier when we said that the bears are dominating the market or the bulls are dominating the market. That's where those two things come from. But it's definitely a good question, and I hope that answers your question. All right. Last question, then we're going to wrap this up. Okay. Will CeeLo be a top 20 cap coin? Okay, so this is something we did cover. So if you're a Token Metrics customer, even if you're not, if you end up signing up, just go to tokenmetrics.com, sign up. Then on the newsletters we send out during the course of the week, if you go to the archives, which is typically at the bottom of the emails, if you go to our archives, we have a report on CeeLo. Pretty in-depth. I mean, so from a technology standpoint, CeeLo has good technology. Okay, let me hold on. Let me just see if I can pull that up here, because it is on Token Metrics. So this is CeeLo Gold I'm talking about. But right now it is still experimental, right? The technology is good. Technology is good, very promising. That's why, it was on CoinList. I know it's getting lots of attention. Technology is good, but the fundamentals are not there. It is still very early. And as a result, we think it makes sense to play the waiting game. Now, can it get a top 20 market cap? Yes, I mean, it's definitely possible. Right now, it's really only trading on Bilaxy. Okay, Bilaxy and Bittrex. Okay, but CoinMarketCap is still pulling in the information. But I mean, definitely worth keeping an eye on. Right now, we think it's a watch list project. We don't think it's time to go out there and FOMO buy CeeLo Gold. That's how you get wrecked. But technology is great. I mean, technology score, if you go on Token Metrics, it's very good. Very good for a project this early. I mean, almost on the same level as Helium, but Helium has better fundamentals, right? So, but definitely worth keeping an eye on. We think top 20 might still be a reach. I would say probably top 30 makes more sense, top 30 market cap. But it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. But it definitely does have potential, and definitely worth keeping an eye on CeeLo Gold. But that's just our opinion. I don't own any CeeLo Gold just yet. They'll have to improve their fundamentals, get onto more exchanges and all that. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Do you think CeeLo Gold has a chance to reach the top 20 market cap? Let me know. All right, and that is a wrap. That is a wrap, people. That is a wrap. It was great having you all here. Please make sure to like, subscribe, heart, whatever you have to do. Spread the love. Crypto family in the house.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
And with that being said, as we say,
Pictures with the zoom and the angle.
the moon is not the limit.
We'll be coming back to you.
To the moon
Samples.
and beyond. Thank you, everybody. Hope all the Americans out there, happy Memorial Day weekend and happy Token Metrics family, crypto family weekend to all our crypto family out there. Hang in there. Thank you all for joining us. Once again, become a smarter investor and subscribe to Token Metrics. We're going to the moon and beyond, and we're taking you with us. Whether you like it or not, we're going to take you to the moon with us. Until next time, thank you, everybody.